and Misfits, coming to you from not the Recycle Garage. No. I am somewhere much better than that. I am at AMA Vintage Days in Lexington, Ohio. And we're sitting out in a field right now. And it's just to paint the picture, it's Saturday about evening. Things are winding down a little bit from the day and getting ready to ramp up. We got really cool bikes going by, nice little two-smoker there, and we've got some light rain clouds coming in, cooling the evening off as everyone's getting ready for Saturday night. Joining me here, second time returning for Lucas, first time on the show. Say hi to everyone.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
And also our almost a regular, you're kind of beyond stunt misfit, you're part-time misfit. It's Wendy Crockett.
Crash dummy misfit. I'm all in, baby.
And we were all three here together last year. Your first time, Wendy, is this your fifth?
Sixth, and it's sixth.
This is your sixth time now. Wow. We met here.
We did.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, this is where we met.
That's pretty dope.
And right across from us is the famous FEMA camp, where we've got the Cleveland Moto crew, the NOCO Moto crew, and the Moto Hop crew, and then all of the deviants that come with it. And just we've got the tiki bar and the lounge set up. Ooh, bro. Have a good time. I wanted to just check in, Wendy. This is now becoming a regular thing for you. What's been a highlight for you this weekend so far?
So this is the first year that I've been at VMD, not like working a booth or with a presentation schedule. So it's been an entirely different experience this time around. Just having full freedom to wander and explore and talk to people has been so much fun this year.
Doing the things.
Just talking to people, getting feedback on their experience. And it has been so cool. I've tried to talk to a lot of people like this is their first year and kind of get their impression. And I heard the word overwhelmed a lot. But also from a lot of people that have, they make this an annual pilgrimage. Somebody called it motorcycle summer camp. And I'm like, that's it. That is the perfect description of why we come back here year after year.
And Luke, you were here last year and you kind of got the fast pass hanging out with all of our crew.
I definitely did.
Is there anything you've discovered this year that you did not discover last year? Is there anything new you've experienced?
It is just as crazy and epic as it was last year. I'm really excited to see what craziness happens on Saturday night because I feel like that's like kind of the pinnacle of the entire weekend. I got a lot more time to really ride bikes and kind of like just take in the ambiance this time versus just being overwhelmed. Now I can actually see what part of it I like versus what parts I really don't like. And the best part about this is what we're doing now. It's just hanging out at the FEMA camp, drinking, smoking, busting each other's balls and shit. Like that's the fucking key of this. Like you don't do this stuff all the time. I think motorcycle summer camp is like a perfect way to put it. It's awesome.
Yeah, you got the barrel racing is in full swing, and I haven't been over to see it, but I know it's in full swing because I see people go by completely covered in mud. It's been raining.
Yep, we had a big rain,
and which makes it Mud Ohio, but it's still fun, and yeah, there's so much going on. One of the things that we got to do today is do some test rides.
Yep.
Now, Wendy, you're like me. You're seasoned. You've ridden just about everything, you'd say, right?
Yep.
And Lucas, what's your history of riding?
So I started riding in 2009. My first motorcycle, because my dad had a Harley, was a Harley. And I had a Sportster, 883. And I was like, oh, this is like the coolest thing since sliced bread. I love it, whatever. And then one day I took a class where you can like ride other people's bikes. And I rode a Thruxton. And I'm like, oh, this is how you're supposed to turn? Like you just look and the bike turns? Like you don't have to like muscle it a little bit, and that like just changed my perspective on motorcycles. So I went to India and I got a Chieftain Dark Horse and then I sold that. And now I have a BMW K1600B. So I have never ridden a dirt bike or pit bike outside of my time here last year at VMD. And I learned a lot in Peru last year with you and with Wendy, with the bullets. So my whole foray really into motorcycling, I feel like I became a motorcyclist going to Peru with you guys and coming to this last year.
Yeah, you learned on what is ostensibly a big bike, even though people don't think a Sportster is. But it is. It is a large bike, meaning there is a world of smaller, more nimble bikes.
Yeah.
So one of the fun things we did is went over to the test rides, and Luke's like, what should I try?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, we have the choices are Suzuki, Yamaha, Royal Enfield, and Harley. And you've done the Harley thing.
I have.
So I sent you over to Yamaha, and I appreciate you're like, whatever, just tell me what to do. I'll go do it. I'm like, yes. So go try an R3. Have you ridden a sport bike before?
Yes, I've ridden a Ninja 600. I've had a Monster. Just little things. Nothing like, well, a Monster's pretty big, but a friend's bike. Nothing. I haven't owned one.
Right. So, and riding a little small sport bike is interesting because you just flog it.
Yeah.
So you went out on a group ride. You took the R3.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
I mean, I love the bike for what it is.
Yeah, you're not being honest.
Yeah. I mean, like for what it is, great. Would I buy it? No. I was very underwhelmed. I wanted a little bit more torque. I wanted a little more pep, and I wanted it to be more responsive to what I wanted. Like if I wanted to turn, I wanted it just to naturally lean in, because that's what sports bikes do. They basically mold to your body, and they do what you want them to do. Yes, you could do some input. Of course, you could do proper turning technique, whatever. But they're just designed to do what you want them to do. That's literally what makes it, I think, a sport bike in a lot of ways. I didn't find that bike really did that as easily as I would have liked.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't expect you to be wowed by it. But one of the fun things about an R3, and I'm going to throw this out that maybe you're not aware, is you can ride it hard and get it up into the higher revs. Wouldn't you agree?
Yep.
That's where they really come alive. And you wouldn't do that on the larger bikes that you're used to riding.
True.
You bring it up into a higher range and you just flog it. And now it can be fun.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So you tried that. You're like underwhelmed. What's next?
Next was the Himalaya 450.
Yeah. Himalayan. And we all rode.
We all were on the Himalayan 450.
So yeah. We went over. You've ridden the Himalayan 450 before.
Quite a few times.
Yeah.
I haven't.
Mm-hmm.
I've been waiting to compare it. What'd you think of the Himalayan?
I loved it. I think it is a great bike for what it is supposed to be. And that's like, if you want to ride to where you want to go off-road, you can do that. It's comfortable enough to do that. You can bop around. It's comfortable enough for a decent, I could easily do a 4-hour ride on that and be relatively comfortable, I think. A little bit of farkling here and there, but I think out of the box, it's actually pretty great for what it's intended to do. And it seems pretty easy to work on too for those, things that may or may not happen if you're off-road and doing stupid shit.
Yeah, I was right away impressed with how throaty and grumbly and mean that motor felt and sounded. Like, oh, okay. All right.
Right.
Like this is one you're like, oh, you're going to get everything you can out of this.
Yeah.
And it just has that really almost like a primal kind of, I kind of had that out of my Ducati 900 SS, a very primal, vibraty, blah, 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 blah,
Yeah.
And fun. It makes you want to do dumb things.
Yes.
Like it wanted me to go do dumb things.
I agree with that completely.
Right?
It was like the bike that can do anything you want it to do, and it'll do what you ask it to do and be happy about it. That's pretty much what it felt like.
Yeah. It was fine.
Yeah.
I mean, Wendy, what do you think?
I was so surprised, because I rode it the first time expecting it to be a slightly upgraded 411, and it wasn't. It is like ground up power plant frame. Everything.
I wasn't impressed with the first one.
No,
the styling looked good, but it didn't ride what I wanted for a bike to go off road.
Right. It was a fun small bike. This is a very capable mid displacement bike.
Yeah.
Entirely different ergonomics, entirely different. It has a very similar power profile to the 411, just more of it. Okay. So when you look at those, the power profiles on both of those side by side, it's just significantly higher, where it has a really nice usable range. But yeah, I think a lot of people, myself included, you have this kind of notion of what Royal Enfield is.
Mhm.
But if you haven't ridden one in the last 5 years or so, I got on, I don't even remember what I rode, but one of their 650s when they came out.
Interceptor, maybe?
Yeah. And like this stream of new bikes that they've had coming out the last 5 years. And I got on it and I was like, holy crap, I am speeding on a Royal Enfield. And I didn't even have to try hard to get here.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like that incredible sense of surprise and being impressed when you hop on this and you're like, this isn't just a little bike doing little bike things. This is a competitor now.
Yeah, and I guess your first experience on a Royal Enfield was when we were in Peru on the Bullet 500, which feels like a new old bike.
Yes. It does feel like a new old bike, and it struggles to go fast. I absolutely, completely agree with that. And this did not struggle. The Himalayan was like, I am ready. Very throaty, very primal. I think it's a great word for it.
Yeah.
It just wants to do. It just wants to go.
So then it was time to give Luke another experience.
Yes.
And once again, he let me pick which bike to ride. And knowing, again, you're comfortable on big bikes. You can handle a big bike, a powerful bike. But I wanted to give you something fun and flickable.
Mm.
So I put you on the DRZ 400 SM.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, you remember the difference between the SM and the other versions?
So the SM is more for, if you want to do some street riding, you can. A little bit of smaller wheels, kind of made more for the ability to do different things.
Yeah.
But obviously it can off-road like anything else.
Yeah. Have you ridden an SM?
I don't know that I have.
They're great bang for the buck bike.
Yep.
Very popular because it's so much fun. And I just thought, this will be a blast. It's the kind of bike you get on, you just go wee and have fun.
Yeah.
So what did you think?
Exactly that. I mean, I got on that bike. I was like, this is so light. And I mean, y'all obviously can't see me. I'm not tall. I'm not a tall guy. So I was a little I've never been on a real dirt bike, which is kind of funny because I didn't ride dirt bikes as a kid. So I get on this thing. I'm like, right, I can handle a big bike, but it's so light. You could just throw that thing down. I mean, you could just make like a 45-degree angle. A thing will just go where you want it to go. So fun. And I mean, I was looking for a 6th gear because we were going relatively fast on that. We were going like 70, 80 miles an hour. It was a really good test ride.
I got higher than that.
Yeah, well, you were right in the front. But like it really did. It coasted ish at 80. I wanted a 6, but that's not what it's made for. I feel like it's super adequate, if not beyond adequate for what it's made to do. Very awesome. Seems very easy to work on. Like something I would absolutely consider in the future.
Ooh.
Yeah. Really cool.
Wendy, what did you ride?
I was on the V-Strom 800 DE.
Wait, that's what I rode.
That is what you rode.
Yeah, we're on the same thing.
Oh, we're twins.
What'd you think?
So I've ridden the 1050 XT quite a bit, and I've ridden the original V-Strom and the 1000. So I picked this like, I don't care, wave of the hand.
Yeah.
We're here to support Luke, so pick a bike.
I appreciate
Dude,
you.
I was really pleasantly surprised at how much fun.
Oh my God.
that
I'm
bike
realizing
was.
I did not get this feedback yet. So this is new.
Right.
I'm like, all right.
V-Stroms historically are very wonderfully low-key adequate at what they do. They are the Toyota Corolla of motorcycles. They're really reliable, really well suited as a dual sport with highway capabilities.
I argue that.
Inspiring.
Yes, thank you.
Of passion.
I claim that it is a ADV styled street bike.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I took the V-Strom way out into outback Australia, and for that, I mean, it's big miles with a lot of dirt, but not a lot of aggressive trails, and it was great. Like it was totally nimble. It was suitable.
So this is an 800cc mid-sized. And I will say this model we're riding, I felt like it was an actual adventure bike.
Yeah. And so this one, as like Luke said, this was a much more spirited test ride than many of the test rides that I'm accustomed to. So we get out on the road and we make that first turn. And all of a sudden I'm like, whoa, shit, everybody's just winding it. And I mean, that bike had everything I asked of it. It was punchy.
And just to paint the picture, so yeah, we're here at Mid-Ohio Racetrack for Vintage Days, but we are surrounded by rolling hills and fields and Amish country. So there are a lot of these opportunities when we do these test rides for them to have a long straight stretch of country road and just open it up, which is great for doing it here. We're not out there just like terrorizing the neighborhood so much. There's maybe a cow, that's it.
Maybe a cow. Maybe.
So I too immediately felt comfortable in it. I loved the seat and the way it kind of just held my ass in the palm of its hand. It cupped your ass.
Yeah.
I like that. The bars were where I wanted them to be. The pegs were where I wanted them to be. It's one of those bikes I immediately just felt comfortable in.
Right.
And then, yeah, it had the power and a speed shifter. You didn't have a speed shifter. Quick shift.
No, I didn't.
And I suddenly realized, click, 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 and we're gone. And yeah, I had a good time. It was, I have no complaints about that bike other than the color.
And I mean, even then, it's
banana yellow.
You look at it like an homage to vintage Yamaha colors.
No,
if you squint,
you gotta have checkers. You're doing it.
No, I feel like yellow is like an off-road color. Just objectively, I feel like that's off-roadish.
That aside, because it comes in other colors. I thought that, as I've said, I've made this claim for years. The V-Stroms are good bikes, but they're more of a like the Versys.
Right.
Same thing. It's not really an adventure bike. And when people argue, I take mine off-road, and I say, and there's a guy who went around the world on a monkey bike. Tell me it's a touring bike. It's not. But this one is. They made those few slight changes and made a bike that I felt like I could comfortably ride it off-road.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely a pleasant surprise. I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did.
Yeah. I liked it a lot. The other interesting experience we had on that ride is that it started to rain.
Yes.
And I don't know where you guys live, what the rain is like. Where I live, it's usually a drizzle and it rains for like 3 days. But here what happens is a cloud comes in and drops quarter-size raindrops on you for about 20 minutes. And they hurt. When you're doing 80, it hurts.
Yeah.
Right?
I didn't have a windshield, so it was like getting pelted. I had to remind myself it's not actually harming me. It's just pelting rain. But that was a little stingy. I
was at the very back of the group, and I immediately saw 11 other riders curl up on their tanks as the rain got more and more aggressive. But yeah, like you said, it was short, and then the atmosphere just sucks it right up in there, so now it is oppressively humid again.
Yeah. So we had a good time doing the test rides, but that's not the only ride we did today, Wendy.
No, we did the Lap for History again.
It's not a race.
Not a race.
It's not a race. But this time I had my bike, no passenger, and I was ready to go. Now, I'm going to say, Wendy, you were duped.
I was duped. I should have stayed with my first inclination to take my rattly, wobbly little Chinese bike, which, how did I end up riding that bike? That simply was the first of like the 8 bikes that I tried that actually started. So that became mine.
What happens here, Phil and his crew, they bring all these bikes out of their garages, out of their warehouses, wherever, and they just line them up with the keys in. And we've got some janky stuff. We got 2-stroke scooters. There's mini bikes. There's all sorts of stuff. And you never know what you can get. And there's a bike here that Sleepy Cinch rides, and it's called the Buscadero. And it looks like something you got from a Facebook ad.
It does.
But I've seen him tear up and down the road here in front of the campground. I'm like, this thing is hopped up, right? You've seen it too.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was like, ditch the scooter, man. Take the Buscadero. And she's like, but it's not my bike. And he said, oh, no, yeah, go ahead. He was pretty quick with the go ahead, wasn't he?
He was pretty quick. He chucked me immediately under that bus.
Yeah. And so I hopped on my little Benelli 135 and we headed down. And you immediately disappeared from my sight.
Well, it is highly cold-blooded It takes a long time because it's semi-automatic. So I can't just ease out the clutch and warm up while I'm riding. I need to have it sufficiently warm so as not to stall it. And so I think the two of you were probably on the far side of mid-Ohio before you realized I wasn't there and turned around and came back for me. And by that time, it was about ready to idle on its own. But yeah, it is very perky on the bottom end, and it has nothing for top end.
And here's the moment I knew you were duped. We're out there doing the laps, and I am charging on my little Benelli, and I'm looking at my mirror. Where's Wendy? Wendy, she's got to be behind me because I'm thinking this thing is hopped up. Nothing. And then Sleepy Cinch comes roaring by me on a Trail 70 that he put a 140 engine in. And he just flies past me. I'm like, oh, this guy, he took the better bike.
Yeah. Yes, he did.
We thought the Buscadero was a better bike.
Mm-hmm.
The little Trail 70 does not look menacing. It flies.
And I got all sorts of people as we're queued up for the start of the ride. All sorts of people. Oh, man, that's beautiful. What do you think about that? And here I am 10 minutes later, full race talk, begging it to hit 30 miles an hour. So the disappointment was palpable.
Did it at least do turns? Like, was it turnable?
It was all right. It was not confidence inspiring, but you get a lap in and get a feel for its unique handling characteristics, and it was all right. I was outrunning some people, but not a whole lot of them at 30 miles an hour.
So I know a lot of people out there probably thinking, well, did I win the race? And I will admit, I did change the rules of the race.
Of course.
But I think that they are fair, don't you, Wendy? I mean,
it seems reasonable.
It's reasonable rules. Okay.
That's all that matters.
So the new rules of the race are you start in the back. Like we all just line up at the back of the whole pack from the start. And the name of the game is don't let anyone with a milk crate on their bike beat you. And a lot of them, they're going down to the front to get the head start they need for their, their Trail 90 or whatever, right? So they're already getting that head start. And you got to catch them. And just if you pass everyone with a milk crate, you win. I think it's fair.
Whatever you say, it's fair.
And the other part of the rule, just to clarify, and again, Wendy, you agree, the race doesn't end when the checkered flag is waved.
No, absolutely not.
The race goes all the way until you're off of the track.
That's just a heads up that you have one more lap to pass all the milk crates.
Yes.
So exactly. Which I did. So in my book, I won the race. Thank you very much. Though technically Sleepy beat me.
Yeah.
But we all won.
No milk crate. So
yeah, but he beat all the milk crates and me.
The key was to find that sweet spot in front of all the milk crates and well behind the guy with the Harley with the straight pipes that was making our ears bleed. That was the sweet spot.
Yeah. And I'm curious, have you gotten an opportunity to sample any of the other fares that Phil and the Cleveland Moto guys have laid out for us? You tried something new.
Yeah, the Black Cats, I've been riding those around. Oh my God, they're so fun. They're so fun. They just, whatever. They just do what they're supposed to do. They're yellow. They look ridiculous. And they're just perfect. They're perfect little stupid pieces of shit scooters.
So yeah, Phil's brought out 3 identical, torn up, one that actually I believe was chewed up by a pit bull. And
yes,
it looks like it.
Yeah, that's the one I rode on purpose.
And they are yellow, black, and red.
Yeah.
Ugly as sin. And 50cc 2-stroke scooters?
I think so.
Yeah. That are actually fun. What'd you think?
Of course, they're super fun. Though getting the mud on those is so funny because the back tire goes and it's just like, whatever. Because the tire's, like nothing.
10 inches.
Yeah, exactly. 10-inch tire. You're just flying. It's great. No, they're awesome little scooters.
Anything else did you try anything else fun?
I tried to start a whole bunch of those. I finally got my little no-name Chinese scooter started, and I was so excited that I got one to start that I didn't check the fuel level.
I'm going to make a recommendation for you to try some. I don't see it out right now. I'd find it. Because I got to try something that has been on my kind of bucket list for a long time. Long time. In fact, it was brought here by Swiggy from No Komodo. It's a very special scooter. This would be an Italjet dragster.
Thing is so sweet looking. It is ridiculous.
Well, let me tell you something. This is one of the older ones, like I believe 90s, right? I think it's from 90s.
Yeah, I think you said 91.
It's sweet looking for a scooter, but it's not sweet looking compared to the modern,
sure,
Italjet dragster.
That thing can go.
But as a scooter, oh my gosh. This is do you know how many cc's it is?
Not a clue.
I don't know. I'm going to guess maybe a 200cc two-stroke scooter that winds up. And it's like a turbo where it just, and it's suddenly you're like, wow. I never reached the top of the RPM range just on the road here because I'm like, oh crap. Because it incrementally is like getting more and more power, like it's very comes on.
Yeah.
I'm going to suggest, Wendy, if you've never ridden one, that we go over there and try it.
Should do the barrel races on that thing, Wendy.
Ooh, speaking of it, you want to go check out the barrel races?
Yeah, we should check that out.
It's muddy. It's going to be just fascinating. We also have a bunch of guests here. We have people we're feeding over here at the FEMA camp. And I've got a bunch of stunt misfits that showed up, which is so awesome. I put out the word that none of the California crew were coming. I needed stunt misfits, and they showed up. And I gave them all the task to find the story they want to share, and then let me know when you find it, and I'll come and record it. And they've all stepped up, and it's been awesome. We've gotten some great interviews. So let's go take a listen to some of those. Meanwhile, put Vintage Days on your schedule for next year, end of July. Are you coming, Luke?
Oh, hell yeah. I'll be here again. Absolutely.
Wendy? I sure hope so.
Now that you've seen the other side, because we haven't even talked about the woods.
Oh, the woods. Yeah. One day, Liza goes, do you trust me? And then brings me into these crazy woods on literally, I was on a lawnmower and tries to get me through the woods. This year was way easier because I was on an actual pit bike that could do it. So much fun. This place is awesome.
Guess what? I just found a new trail in the woods.
Oh, hell yeah.
And guess where it is?
Where?
At the end of the path from our campground.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, we got to do this. I'm not doing it on a scooter, though.
Well, let's just go over there. I'll show you, because every time I come here, I still discover something new. I love this place. So let's go hear some of the interviews. Here you go.
Hi, this is Josh here at Vintage Motorcycle Days 2025 in Mid-Ohio. And I'm here at the Classic British Motorcycle Club tent with Dave Knight. And he's got an amazing Norden for us here today. Hey, Dave, say hello.
Hello.
All right.
Yeah, it's very pretty.
Yeah. And you're probably hearing a lot of commotion behind us. That's because we're in the infield where all the tents are set up, all the different vendors and displays and bike shows going on, people everywhere, music playing, and just having a great time out here. And, don't be too worried about that. It's nice for the ambience for everyone. So, Dave, tell us a little bit about yourself and your club here, and then we'll get into the bike.
Well, the club is the Classic British Motorcycle Club of Cincinnati, and we are having our 35th annual show this September, so we've been around for a little while, and we have a real wide range of various makes and models and years of British motorcycles. That's what we tend to focus on.
Is that a Greaves? Oh, Ariel. Oh.
Ariel Square 4, Norton Dominator. No, that's not a Dominator. That's an Atlas. Norton always had the most machismo names for their motorcycles. That one is an Atlas. There's a Dominator. This is a Commando. So
The classic. I see an AJS. Bunch of Triumphs. Can't get away from those.
There is a Greaves back there behind you. Yep.
Oh, wait. And that's not a Rickman, is it?
it might be, yeah. That's that's a Triumph engine, so that's probably a Rickman frame.
Yeah, nice. Very nice. Nice collection here.
Yep.
Yeah. And you've been here all weekend with the club and been coming to Vintage Days for a long time?
Yeah, we've been coming here probably for 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah,
Great.
my wife and I. Yep.
All right, yeah. And so you've been riding most of your life, right?
Well, I think I was 13 when my dad bought me an all-state motor scooter, which I rode like it was a dirt bike all over the farm.
Okay, cool dad award.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. I let him know.
Well, that's awesome. And that kind of leads me, you were telling me about the farm you grew up on, which leads us into the bike a bit, right?
Yeah.
You had a nice little story for me.
This is a 1974 Norton Commando, candy apple red and silver, and that's exactly the bike that I had. Not this particular bike, but one just like it when I was 21 years old. And I lived on a farm in Michigan, and for the most part, all of the roads in Michigan go exactly north and south and exactly east and west every mile, except for the road in front of our farm, which went from the little town of Carsonville to the little town of Applegate, about 6 miles, and in those 6 miles, it had 5 45-mile-an-hour banked curves. So I had many opportunities to practice on that road.
Wow.
With a bike like this, I wore the bottoms of the foot pegs flat because I was hitting the pavement. I was leaned over so far.
And we've got some clearance on these pegs.
Not with me sitting on it quite so much. It goes down a little bit when I sit on it, even back then when I was not this big. So in those days, the most popular bike around was a Honda 754. And everybody who owned those thought that they were the fastest thing, but they had heard of Nortons. They didn't know them very well, but they had heard of them. And the big advantage with these real light, narrow British bikes is how they can take the curves. So they'd challenge me to a race, and I would say, as long as I get to choose the road. We would race from Carsonville to Applegate, and my goal was to be in Applegate off the bike, smoking a cigarette before they showed up. I was able to do that twice.
I know what you mean. We had a road going to my house. It's probably like a 25-mile-an-hour road with changes in elevation and a blind turn. I do it like 65. I could have done it in my sleep.
Yeah, right.
I knew every inch of that road.
Yeah, I think I was going around those 45-mile-an-hour curves at about 75 when I had it down.
That's
wouldn't try it today.
Yeah. Well, and I know some unique features about this that I'm not super well versed in these bikes.
Yeah.
So, like, I know it's got a disc brake up front.
Right.
Is that
was
something
a recent development for Norton and Triumph to start using disc brakes. These early single disc brakes are not as good as the twin leading shoe brakes that they had been using just a few years before, but they kept getting better and better. And modern disc brakes are so much better than the old ones.
Right.
But this was kind of a transition period. Okay. That's the only thing that's not up to snuff and makes this bike ready to ride. That caliper is causing me a lot of problems. But just a month ago, I got a new caliper I haven't put on yet. So I should be riding it before long.
That's cool. And I noticed, too, we've got our shifter on the right, down on the foot. You know, so was that...
This is a 74, and in 75, they switched the shifter to the other side, what Americans and Germans think of as the right side, and put an electric starter on it right here, which is where the old magneto used to sit back when they had magnetos. And so that was a change in 75. and 76, they went out of business.
Okay. Well, let's just leave that one there. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So does it, do you ever have any issues transitioning back and forth, or is it just second nature to you?
It's always. And what usually happens is that I think I'm going to shift the bike and I slam on the brakes instead. Yeah.
Nice. Josh, I want to know what drew you to this bike.
Well, it was Dave himself, actually. I came in, I was looking at all the different bikes.
Yeah.
And, I came over, I asked him, I was like, anyone, about if the AJS over here. And he's like, well, I can tell you all about this Norton. And he told me that little story. And as soon as he told me that little story, I was hooked. I was like, that's cool. You know, grinding pegs down on this, and you buy the same model bike as when you were a kid, you know? Like,
This
fun.
particular bike I bought at the Barber Festival in boxes.
I was going to say, how complete was it? Because this is looking
I had
perfect.
to buy a lot of things on here. It looked like much of the bike had spent some time underwater. I mean, so the reflector in the headlight shell was all corroded and unusable, just as one example. And I was finding mud dauber wasps in some of the parts of the crankcase.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this was an engine out resto?
Yeah. Absolutely everything has been restored as close as possible to original condition.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Have you
this
scoured
is-
the swap meet at all here trying to find anything for it?
No, I don't need anything for it now.
Okay.
Remember, the club gave me a new caliper, and so when I get that on, I should be all set.
That's great. Yeah.
Very nice. So I'm curious, what other bikes do you have?
I have a 68 Triumph Bonneville that I'm just finishing up, and I have a 1949 Triumph Speed Twin that served in the Egyptian Postal Service. The raised letters on the sides of the tires are in Arabic.
I was going to wonder how you track that, but yeah.
Well, the guy I bought it from said that there was a man who got a container, took it over to Egypt, asked around, you got any old bikes in the sheds or barns, and filled it with old bikes that had just been set aside, brought it back, and I'm sure he made lots of money selling them to collectors like me. And then we got a little substantiation of that story because I got the records from the English Triumph Club. They have the factory records from Triumph, and they'll sell you a copy. And so there's a copy of that bike's engine number being sold right out of the factory to a Mr. Aid in Cairo.
It sounds made up. I'm curious because you're part of the classic British club. Do you think that just sunk in because you got into British early? I mean, because
Probably.
the Italians were around then.
Yeah, I didn't know anybody who rode an Italian bike in Sanilac County, Michigan. So, yeah. But there were British bikes around. My friends from college all rode Triumphs.
And no Japanese for you?
The other thing was that before I got the bike like this, my dad helped me buy a 68 Norton Atlas. It was red, but it was basically like that bike there. And it was in baskets, and I put it together, and that was my first street bike. So I had a little experience with Nortons. That bike is bolted together solidly and shook like nobody's business. Longest trip I ever took on it was like 200 miles, and my knuckles swelled up like that. This bike, they had gone to, what do they call it? Some kind of elastic system. I'm not remembering the exact
Elastic trickery, we call that.
name. Well, the engine and the drivetrain is one unit, and the frame and the front end is another unit, and they are separated by big rubber mounts.
Okay.
So if this thing were started, it'd vibrate just as bad as that. Worse, because it's a bigger engine. But the engine will sit there inside the frame and do this, and you don't feel it.
I'm curious, do any of your bikes take Whitworth?
Yeah, not this one.
Where do you source your bolts and nuts?
Many places. There's a place in Ontario called, I'm blanking on it.
Because
I used to get most of my stuff from Dommy Racer in Cincinnati.
You had a
And
guy.
you see those stickers on the table there? That's all that's left of Dommy Racer now.
Yeah, that's something hard. I was restoring an old Tiger Cub, and
Yeah.
I was trying to do my own plating kit and replate everything, and that's hard.
Yeah. I think it was this bike that I bought a plating kit for, and what that does is it zinc plates the parts that were originally cadmium.
Yeah.
This bike has 1 ton of polished aluminum on it. And so at this time, when I did the 68 Bonneville, I farmed that work out. When I did this bike, I would take one piece and I would go over it with a sander, with a little sanding disc on a drill to get the worst things out. And then I would sit in front of the TV with a tarp over me and a bucket of water next to me, and I would sand it and dunk it and wet sand it. And I would start with 220 grit.
What are we starting here? Didn't mean to cut you off, but loud noise. Oh, nice little Triumph.
We won't run it for very long.
Is that a T100?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Very nice. Yeah, that's pretty sweet. You gotta love the sound, right? Woo. Very nice. So you're sitting there with a tarp on you.
Yeah. And so I start with 220 sandpaper, 400, 600, 800. At each step, you work it until the scratches from the previous time are gone. Then you move to the next one. And then 1,200 and then 2,000. And then I started using the wheel, which I would charge with different grits, of pace until I got down to the final one. And you would end up with stuff that looked like chrome. It needs to be polished up a little bit, but when it's polished a little bit, it'll look like the chrome.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
There's so much of that. These Z strips here, that's all aluminum that had to be polished.
Wow.
Well, that's a labor of love to sit there and do all that.
Yeah, love, ignorance, I'm not sure. One or the other.
Very nice. Well, thank you so much for sharing your bike. Good find. This is beautiful. You know who would approve of this?
Oh, could that be Miss Emma?
That would be Miss Emma. She would definitely approve. All right. Well, thank you very much.
You're quite welcome. Thank you.
All right. So we're talking with Joy Burgess. She is the Director of Marketing and Communications with the AMA, and she is really one of the forces behind Vintage Motorcycle Days. So, Joy, tell us a little bit about what you do that brings this event all together.
Well, part of what we do on my team is we actually have the events segment of the AMA on my team. So the event, this is a huge event. It's the biggest event that we do all year. So a lot of that falls to my team and my amazing event manager, who you won't see because she's running around behind the scenes, but Mackenzie Martin.
She's still here?
You
haven't broke her yet?
I haven't chased her away yet. So fingers crossed, because she's amazing. So that's all a part of our team. What a lot of people don't realize is there's more than 70,000 people, and there's only about 50 employees at the AMA. That's huge for this size of a team to put together. I'm really proud of the team here.
Absolutely. Wow. 70,000 people?
That's what we
off the record
last year.
Off the record.
I think that we probably will have more this year.
Wow.
That is fantastic.
That's including everyone attending, but also people working, racing, all the
everybody
things
that shows up here. Yeah, that was the estimated attendance last year, was right about 70,000. I think we will go beyond that this year. We have more of everything, more racers. We have more types of racing. We have more vendors, more sponsors. There's just, this year, instead of just having one vendor area, I actually have multiple vendor areas. We have vendors in the off-road areas now. And
I noticed that. And I mentioned that to somebody. I'm like, hey, they're now doing vendors like in the motocross paddock, which makes sense.
Up here. I mean,
yeah, if you're selling motocross equipment, makes perfect sense. I caught that. I thought that was smart.
Yeah, Yamaha actually sponsored the motocross paddock over there. So they're one of the big sponsors down there. So to see it growing, that's really, really awesome this year.
Nice.
Yeah, fantastic. So what are some of the things that you specifically bring to this event that maybe what is your favorite thing? What is your favorite thing to have people discover? There's just so much here to discover. Give us some of your Joy's secrets.
I don't know if I have any secrets. The thing is I feel like you can be here for 3 days, and you need to come multiple years in a row, because even if you're here for 3 days, you will never experience everything that's going on here. I mean, I've been here. This is my 5th VMD working for the AMA. I still don't feel like I've experienced everything. I would say maybe the coolest thing to me has always been the kids here. And one of my favorite stories that I tell about the first year that I came, I was going around and I was in a golf cart at the time because I was delivering some stuff, and a little girl, like probably 5 years old on pigtails, just like roosted by me and left me in the dust, and her little pigtails flying in the wind, and the happiest kid in the world. Through the last few years, we've actually grown to have a kids area now. We have the Stasek and Kenda kids area over there. It's really awesome to see the little kids get out there on their own little hay bale track and go crazy. To me, that's what it's all about.
I can second you on that, because one of my favorite things is seeing these kids like living life hard here. There was a moment yesterday where Wendy was riding on the scooter down in the grass dip alongside all these little kids on little bikes. And it's like, it felt like summer and just like memories being had. And yes, I'm right there with you. I love seeing these kids living this fun life, having a great experience.
And it's really important because they're our future. I mean, it's great to see all the people who are in here that are here who might be older and loving the vintage bikes, but to see the kids here loving, maybe they're learning to ride or they already ride and they're learning to love vintage bikes, that's our future. And that's just as important as everything else we're doing here.
And speaking of the future, you have a big announcement.
I do. I'm really excited. So a lot of people might know the last few years we've done something called Take a Kid Dirt Bike Riding Month in May. And last year we did our very first issue of American Motorcycles for Kids. We did a second one this year, and now instead of just making it an annual thing, we will actually be officially launching the subscription for American Motorcycles for Kids in 2026.
And this will be a in-print magazine?
This will be available in print as well as digital, but it will be a print package available. I mean, parents, grandparents, they're going to want to get on board with this. A lot of the industry is excited to get behind it because we realize as this whole Strider and Stasek generation is growing up and they're entering our racing ranks at the AMA, it's so important that we're speaking to them now, telling them the stories, getting them involved more while they're young. So this is really a passion project for me.
That's exciting. That's big news. Yeah, you start them when they're young. Exactly.
Yeah.
One of us.
Very cool.
Well, great. Thank you for everything you do every year. You always get an email from me at some point about like, hey, I need a thing. Da, 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 da. But you guys put on, it's my favorite event. It is. I come all the way from California every year, and you guys somehow make it happen. And I do explain to people, like, I know for a fact that this isn't your job. Your job is whatever you're doing at the AMA, and this is a thing that's put on top of that for this event. Correct?
Sort of. I mean, events is in my department,
Sure.
So it is. I feel like it's been my job for about the last 8 weeks because a lot of people they think we just arrive and it all happens. That's not how it works. There's a lot of thought.
You wear other hats for the AMA. That's the point.
Yes, there are lots of other hats.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you very much. And if you want to see any of the other side of Vintage Days, you're always welcome to hitch a ride on the back of my bike.
Oh,
I can
awesome.
show you things because I think I've found every corner here. I think I have.
How many VMDs have you been here?
Oh, I don't know, about 10, I think.
10.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. So yes, you're right. I am still discovering things.
We keep adding things too, so there's something new to discover every year.
We just discovered the lemonade and corn dog guy over by the motocross pavilion. And I was like, yay, that's perfect. Well, thank you very much. We'll get out of here and let you run this event.
Perfect.
Thank
you
for
ladies.
everything you do every year.
This is Justin with Motorcycles and Misfits. I'm here at Vintage Motorcycle Days in the infield next to the Wall of Death and all the madness. I'm here with Mark from Mimi and Moto.
Yay, Mark.
Yay, glad to be here.
Old friend of ours.
Mark's got a new Mimi and Moto book out he's promoting out here today. And his All Kids Bike Initiative.
Yeah,
Non-for-profit.
I'll fill you in.
Yeah.
So, yes.
And I just want to say, I hadn't even crossed the road yet to discover you're here, but I said, Justin, be a stunt misfit, find a story. And he comes back with the Miyamoto books. I got a story. And I'm like,
he told me
it's
that.
Perfect.
And when he said that, I'm like, all right, dude, I just grabbed a copy of the new book. I'm like, here, just bring that to her. That's her review copy. And
nice.
she'll know what to do with it.
So, Mark, tell us what's new, what you got going on here. There's so much happening.
Man, this is our third year here at Vintage Motorcycle Days. Love it. The setup here with Mimi and Moto, All Kids Bike, and Stasic is perfect for all the kids here. I mean, really, the exciting thing about being here is that we have our fourth book for sale here at Vintage Motorcycle Days. And this one is pretty special.
You haven't learned your lessons yet, have you?
About?
You just keep going. You never give up. You just keep going.
Yeah, there's no... listen.
I love it.
Me and my wife are going to do this until I'm dead. And it's just a question of how much we get done before then. But, man, this was actually a little bit related to Vintage Motorcycle Days from last year, because last year after Vintage Motorcycle Days, we cruised out to Sturgis. We were set up at Black Hills Harley Davidson in Rapid City, which is where Ryan McFarland lives, and that's where Strider and All Kids Bike is based. It's actually about 5 minutes away from Black Hills Harley Davidson. So the first week, Ryan and Kent from Strider stopped by, and it was cool. We just had a nice conversation and whatnot, and I was glad that they stopped by. The second week, I come back to my booth, and there's a Triumph Tiger parked at the booth, and it's freaking Ryan again. So I'm talking to two people. They bought some Mimi and Moto stuff. We start talking about Strider, All Kids Bike, and they mentioned that they had a whole bunch of Striders. And I said, well, you can thank that guy right there. That's Ryan, the guy that started Strider. So that was cool. They talked a little bit. When that couple walks away, Ryan simply turns to me and he goes, have you ever considered Mimi and Moto the bicycle monkeys? And I looked at him and I said, well, not until right about now. What do you have in mind? So he started talking about the idea of doing a Mimi and Moto book where Mimi and Moto would go through the All Kids Bike program, because Ryan wanted a book that they could deploy to all the kindergarten classes that would help the kids to understand what they're going to be going through over the course of the year and learning to ride bikes in kindergarten class. So I actually drafted something. It was slow there. So on Thursday, I almost wrote a whole book. I mean, it's not a novel, but on Friday night we had dinner and I showed it to him and then he gave me some feedback and that just started the process. So we actually took delivery of Mimi and Moto Learn to Ride bikes. I think it was July 2nd of this year. We're selling it on our website. I am selling it here. I'll sell it in Sturgis when we head out there, but the official press release will come from All Kids Bike in August. For us, to have Mimi and Moto connected with Strider and All Kids Bike it's from us beyond words. It's such an honor we consider Ryan McFarland to be a legend in the two-wheel space, both motorcycle and bicycle, and that he approached us with the idea was, a complete honor. And now that we have a book, and Ryan wrote the foreword for the book and his name is on the front cover. And all three logos are on the back. So, as Ryan taught us many years ago, bicycles are the gateway to motorcycles. If a child can't ride a bicycle, they're not going to think about a motorcycle. So we are super honored and super excited about what doors this will open up. It's our fourth book, but certainly in terms of high profile and doing this with Ryan at Strider and the whole All Kids Bike team is a huge thing for us. And we're just excited about what opportunities it may open up in the future.
So now, Justin, what drew you to this tent?
I have the first and second book that I read to my 3-year-old son at home all the time.
Aww.
Who is 3 and he's completely obsessed with ABC. So Ride the Alphabet is his go-to every time.
Does it make you so happy to hear when you hear people?
Man, dude, it's beyond happy, man. When this is such a labor of love. The feedback that we get from parents, and we've been out here doing it 9 years. I had a lady here telling me that they bought the first Adventures book, and the kid out here was 9. I think they bought it like 6 years ago.
Wow.
So we are having people come up to us saying, hey, our kids grew up with these books. And that makes it, I can't put into words how special it is. It really is for both me and Nancy.
So you Mimi and Moto is part of your family's life.
Definitely.
So you came to meet Mark and find out what else is going on. The Stasic, a lot of people know, is these little
the electric
pre-bikes.
Yep.
They don't have pedals, but a lot of people don't know what All Kids Bike is. You want to talk about that?
So basically, Strider and what Ryan has done over there for the last, 18 years or so, Strider's known as the Balance Bike Company. All Kids Bike is the 501c3 of Strider. And Ryan's goal, and the goal of everybody over there at All Kids Bike too, is to get these, the All Kids Bike program into kindergarten classes across the United States. So far, as of right now, I think the number is over 1,700 schools that have the program. The program includes 24 14-inch convertible Striders. So that white bike over there. So the thing about that bike, it starts as a balance bike. Those foot pads come off. The sprocket's already there. When the class is ready, the one bolt takes the foot pad off and the pedals go on. Also, too, what they did with that 14-inch Strider, you can buy a 14-inch Strider, but it'll have tubes in the tires. They specifically made the one for the schools airless. That way the teachers never have to worry about inflating the tires. So it starts as a balance bike, and eventually through the course of the year, the class learns to use it as a pedal bike. And Ryan's goal is to make learning to ride a bicycle in kindergarten classes a milestone. So that way that convertible 14-inch Strider becomes nothing different than a dodgeball, a bat, a soccer ball. It's a tool used in kindergarten PE classes. I think what they've done with it is incredible. If you ask Ryan, Ryan thinks one day All Kids Bike will actually be bigger than Strider. Strider to him is obviously huge. He sold over 4 million bikes, but he sees it as the tool. All Kids Bike is very much the spirit about what they're trying to do. Ryan is the one to speak on the statistics about kids riding bicycles, and that's directly correlated with the statistics on people riding motorcycles. If you don't start to ride a bicycle as a kid, the motorcycle thing you don't even understand it. And again, I repeat it all the time. Bicycles, according to Ryan, and it's not my line, it's his, bicycles are the gateway to motorcycles. If you get the kids interested in bicycles, it's a quite natural progression that maybe motorcycles can be there. So anyhow, he's a motorcycle guy. Even in the book, the word motorcycle does not appear anywhere in the book except for that last page where I actually put the Triumph Tiger as the picture. So they're pointing at, here, I'll show you.
Yeah.
So the last page of the book, again, the word motorcycle does not appear anywhere, but what we did is the line says it had 2 wheels too, but it was bigger. So they both ask, what kind of bike is that? And they're just pointing at a motorcycle. Now the address over here, 2221, that's the address of Strider in North Plaza Drive.
Easter egg.
In Rapid City. And then when we do the second printing, we're going to put Ryan in the garage over here. That's what you can do when you do a second print. No, it's going to be awesome. Even cute looking. But yeah, it's huge for us. We are already working on our 4th book, which will be Mimi and Moto Ride the World, a geography book. But when somebody like Ryan comes to you and says, hey, do you want to do a book together? You stop and you say, yeah, we're going to do a book together. And that's what we've done. And it's, like I said, the official press release doesn't go on until August. It's going to be really interesting to see where this goes for not only All Kids Bike, for also for us too, and what other doors it can open up.
So one of the things we like to do on our podcast, Justin might be aware of, it's called Unsolicited Advice. So Justin, what advice do you have for Mark for his next book?
Well, he already said what the next book
is,
okay, which I think is awesome. He didn't tell me that earlier when we were talking, so I'm ready for that one. I'm not sure. I'd say keep going, keep doing what you're doing, because you've created a set of books that go up with the age of the child. So the next book is, for the next age group, and the next book's for the next age group, and it's educational also, ABCs to geography. So I feel like it's an awesome program, and it deals with motorcycles. So
man, thank you. That's it.
If you're planning ahead, if the kids will keep growing, so next one is Round the World. Will the next one be smokes their first cigarette behind 7-Eleven?
No. I don't think we're going to,
burnout in the captain's corner.
I think we will probably, the oldest that we will go is those chapter books. So if we do second gear, geared for kids that are older than 7, there's no reason for us to go any older. We're going to stay in our lane. We know what we want to do, books in the toddler range, in that 4 to 6 range, and then the 7-up range. But I think also too, as I try to tell people, the books are the foundation for our brand, but we see the brand as much more than just the books. It's just like a foundation of a house. If you only poured a foundation for a house and tried to live in it, not very comfortable, right? You need other things. a big thing for us as we continue to make more books and more merchandise is to continue to push to try to figure out a way to get this thing animated, whether we fund this ourselves and start throwing short animations on YouTube, or if we can partner with a production company or a Hulu, Netflix type situation and somebody sees the value and get it. But if we can professionally animate this on a regular basis, I think we can, we've sold a little over 21,000 books, which is great, but we want to sell 2 million. I think to get to those kinds of numbers, we're going to have to successfully animate this one way or another. It's either going to happen from we're going to do it or we're going to work with some other people to do it, but that continues to be a big thing. We actually had a guy do a short test animation. Did I show you this short test animation?
Yes. It was awesome.
When we're done recording this, I'll show this guy. We met a guy at the Barber Vintage Festival last year. His name is David Aguilar. He is an animator. He does a lot of work, but his world is zombies, first-person shooter stuff, all that stuff. And he's kind of tired of doing that. He's a motorcycle guy. So last October at Barber, he goes, listen, I'm going to make you a test animation. It's going to take a while because I'm working, and he's a rider. Man, 6 months later, this guy sends us this 5-second clip, and I'll show it to you when we're done talking. It's effing amazing. I mean, it's
awesome.
Full on
awesome.
pro. So what we need to do from our end is figure out a way. We want to try to figure out a way to get David producing some more of these really, 7 seconds, not very long, and kind of just throw these videos out, kind of chum in the water kind of thing, and just get people really realizing that our brand is much more than just the books are the foundation of the brand, but we see it as much bigger. Books, merchandise, events, international, and then the animation thing. And we think internationally it'll be a little easier to make progress there once we have a little bit more going on the animation front, because then if somebody on the other side of the world is watching it, then it makes it more real.
For anyone listening, what events? You said Sturgis. Any other events you're going to be at this year? They can come find you and say hi?
We leave here. We'll go do 10 days at Sturgis at the Armory Rally headquarters right in downtown. So we're excited about that. That'll be your first time. I'll have to look. There's the Smokeout Rally coming up in September. Let's see, the Ocean City Bike Fest. We'll do the Barber Vintage Festival. Listen, I come from the music industry, so it's... You make things and then you go tour around and meet people, and that's what we do. So we will continue to do that for the indefinite future as long as my body can keep doing it. I'm out there doing it. So, but yeah, the next few events will be Sturgis. I don't know. I'll have to look for something late August, then September, Smokeout, Ocean City, and then who knows what else. We're always announcing the events on our email list and socials.
Well, Justin, let's say we haul this guy over to the camp and put a cold drink in him.
Yeah.
After a long day. You ready for that?
Over at the Tiki Bar.
I feel that I'm quite ready for that. Yes. Yes, ma'am. I am.
Well, let's head on out. Thank you, Justin.
Yeah,
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate your time.
So we are here at AMA Vintage Motorcycle Days. We are in the middle of the bustle. There are people screaming around on pit bikes everywhere. There is the racetrack going on behind us. It is quite a fervor here. But I'm here. I'm Ken. I'm here as a stunt misfit. My lovely wife, Kathy, is joining us.
Hi.
And we are here to talk to Tammy Backy.
Backy.
Told you I was going to get it right, but I didn't. That's okay. Who's here with the BMW MOA. And what we'd like to hear is, what are some of the things that you, through the MOA, are trying to promote in motorcycling?
So the BMW MOA is a great community, not just for BMW riders, but also for riders of all types. So small bikes, big bikes. But the thing that we want probably the most is that people stay safe on their motorcycles. And so one of the best ways to do that is through taking training. So that's something that I like to promote.
And do you find that a lot of people, they get that initial training and then they think they're good? So what sort of things are you doing to promote that constant and follow-on training?
So, you'll often meet people who say, I've been riding my motorcycle for 30 years. I don't need training. But in fact, usually or often those people have been riding their bike with the exact same skills that they got in the MSF basic course 30 years ago, or in whatever initial course that they had, and have not done anything to upgrade. And as it turns out, motorcycle skills are very perishable. You have to use them, but if you practice the wrong skill and make that into muscle memory, then you are going to be potentially having difficulty. So it's good to practice, but to practice the correct skills.
Have you found that some of the training techniques have changed? So what I'm saying is, were there skills that were taught before that they later learned these were not the best way to do things and were changed to something else?
So I would say yes. I think that different skills are applicable to different kinds of riding, different types of riding, different bikes. And also new riders need different skills than riders that are developing, later on. So for instance, you might be taught in the beginning to use all four of your fingers on the clutch and the brake. When in fact, later on, you're going to finesse with, maybe 1, 2, or 3 fingers.
That's what happened to me. Sorry. That's exactly what happened to me. I was using all 4 and I gave myself too much gas and scared myself.
I have a quick question for you.
Sure.
How many levels of instructional classes are there, would you say? You got like beginner, intermediate, advanced. You go into like track or adventure, like 5, 6, maybe.
It's difficult to quantify the levels, because really what I like to say is people need to, what I would like people to do is to adopt a habit of lifelong learning. So
my follow-up question is, if you can navigate a weekend at Vintage Days on a mini bike, what's the equivalent level of instruction you've just passed? You know where I'm going with this.
I would say that it's probably pretty basic.
Oh, really?
Well, navigating, you mean through traffic and stuff like that?
Well, I've been on the track. I've been in the woods. I think this is like the most advanced class you could take.
No, that you have a point. You have a point.
I think the more demanding skill is probably being a pedestrian and trying to walk around stuff.
Yes. Exactly.
So I will say that somebody came up and said, "Hey, Tammy, ride my bike," which are my favorite words, by the way. And it turns out it was a little 3-wheeler. I have never ridden a 3-wheeler before. And I tell you what, that was, I had no idea what I was doing.
Was it a Honda Gyro?
I don't know what it was. It was really cute.
But it is a whole different skill set.
Well,
but yeah.
You've been riding for 40 years, Ken. And before you did the Dolomites tour with the Misfits, you took that class online and you said you learned all sorts of things that you wish you had known years before. And then you've been practicing all of those skills and you said they made you a much better rider.
So I started riding in 1985 and did not take a class.
We didn't have classes.
No, somebody put me on a bike and said that way.
We had jean jackets or leather jackets.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. So I didn't take a class until some years later. I joined the Air Force, and the military required me to take a class if I was going to ride a motorcycle. And that was a great class, but that would have been 1991. And I had never taken another class since. So I thought I knew what I was doing, but then I took the Yamaha Champs School through the Misfits tour, and it was an online class. But just through the online class, I learned a lot of skills, and it brought back a lot of stuff that I had been taught, but wasn't using. So yeah, I can see how that lifelong learner role is really important. I want to take more.
Yeah, so I'm glad that you mentioned the Champ School class. Through Champ U, they have a bunch of online courses that you can take. The BMW MOA is so serious about incentivizing people to take training such as that, and also in-person training, that we actually give money back. We give more back to BMW MOA members, and so I recommend that everybody become a member. But even people who are not MOA members, we still want everyone to be safe on bikes. And so you can still go to BMW MOAF for foundation. So BMWMOAF.org and apply for the rebate after you take training and get the money back.
Cha-ching. Now, Tammy, I had received somebody that said, you better come over to the MOA booth or someone's going to kick your butt. I came over here to the warm Liza, and you started telling me about your entry into motorcycles. You want to share that story?
Yeah, absolutely. So often people come to motorcycles later in life if they've had a crisis. And I will say I am no different. I was married for 21 years to the father of my children. And that ended. And I needed something brave to do. I was trying to figure out how to date again. I was trying to figure out just how to be a single mom. And I checked the motorcycle box on Match.com. And
you wanted a bad boy.
I did. I wanted to ride on the back of a motorcycle. I remember.
Did you ride already?
Oh no. I had ridden on the back of a bike in college, and that was fun. I remembered that, and I thought, you know what? I want to do that again while I figure out how to date. Well, I ended up matching with a wonderful motorcyclist who I'm married to now. Spoiler alert. But he said the magical words, wouldn't you like to see if you want to ride your own bike? And
good for him.
As a military veteran myself, I was able to take the class for free. And so I went ahead and did that. Before that, Doug had me pilot his Ural with a sidecar. That was the first thing ever.
Horrible machine.
Which is 3 wheels.
3 wheels. So he sat in the tub. I sat up on the bike. He ran me through the gears. And by the end of that lesson, I was flying the chair and landing it, and he didn't die.
Impressive.
So I figured this was for me.
Wow. And you've just gone all in.
I have.
How many bikes do you have now?
So I have 3 bikes. We have 5 in the garage total, so I have the most bikes.
So do we.
Yeah, but only one of them is yours.
You want to list your bikes?
So the first one that I do not have anymore was a Triumph Thunderbird, a 2003 Thunderbird, which I absolutely love. The 3 that are in the garage right now that are mine are a 750 GS, a 1200 GS, and my new 1300 GS that I've only had for 2 weeks.
You might have a GS problem.
So very much a BMW stable.
Yes.
Which is your favorite?
So, well,
you don't ask somebody that question.
Sorry.
Oh my gosh, it's like
Favorite
asking them who's their favorite child.
So I will say the one that I have bonded the most with is the 1200 GS. That one is just over 97,000 miles. I've ridden it from where we live in Florida all the way to Washington State, then down to California and back over. I've ridden it on the Southeast BDR, which was a huge accomplishment for me, having never ridden a BDR before. Starts in Navarre, Florida, goes 10 days all the way up to Damascus, Virginia, and did that with the first group of women, of all women, to complete that route. And so I was really proud of that as well.
That's amazing.
Nice. Got any more questions for her?
I think you've given us a pretty thorough picture of training requirements.
What is your future? What do you want to do next?
Yeah.
What's next?
Well, thank you.
Yeah, what do you do with 3 GSs? Let me guess.
Right. Well, I'm going to continue to work on my skills. Even though I've been able to do some amazing things on motorcycles, I'm not at the top of my game. I know that I'm not. There's always more to learn. I recommend even non-track riders that they take a track school like Yamaha Champions Riding School, or with the BMW Performance Center, or with California Superbike School, which I've done as well. All great courses. But if you take that road riding course on a closed course, it gives you the opportunity to take some risks that you may not take on the street and really improve those skills. So, and again, through the BMW MOA Foundation, and as an MOA member, a BMW MOA member, you can get up to $200 a year back after you take these training courses.
And do they help you find a course that's near you?
Absolutely. So if you go to bmwmoaf.org, on the site there is a list of some courses that you might choose. It's not an exhaustive list. And if there are training organizations that would like to get onto that list, there is a way that they can do that as well. So we're aggregating a list of trainers.
Do you find that the big advantage to the track days is that you can practice those skills without worrying about oncoming traffic? I mean, is it you take the traffic
100%.
aspect of it out?
It's dead possums for me.
And dead possums and marmots.
100%. And I will say my first experience was with Yamaha Champions Riding School, and the way that they separate you into ability levels is done very, very well. The cadence of the program is also done very, very well. As a first-time track rider, I was just bowled over. It was wonderful. And my skills improved more probably from training with them, my road skills more with them than I think probably anybody else.
Do you have a favorite track?
So I've only ridden on 2 so far. So first at Homestead in Miami and second at VIR with California Superbike School, another wonderful organization. And I would say that my favorite track so far out of those 2 would be VIR.
I have one final question for you.
Yes.
Hey, Tammy, you want to ride my bike?
Yes.
Great. Thank you guys so
Awesome.
much. You did a great job.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right. I'm introducing a whole new segment of the show. It's called Catch Up, where we get to catch up with a past guest. Who's with me today?
I'm Ivy.
Ivy, you're a little bit taller than you were last year.
Like 5 inches, something like that.
Yes. So for those who don't remember, Ivy, you were here with us at Vintage Days last year.
Yep.
And we did an interview with you where you got to go over to DC Moto and sit on a bike and get a little bit of instruction. Then we were kind of tracking you as you were getting more instruction. There was a nice young man here who was giving you tips.
Yeah.
And by the end of the weekend, you were ripping up and down the roads here. So it's been a year. Are you still a biker?
Totally. Yeah. I mean,
Are you all in?
I don't own a bike quite yet, but
How old are you now?
15. I'm 16 in October.
Oh, you're so close.
Yeah.
So close.
Yeah.
What have you been riding here?
Been riding a 110. It's out right now though.
A scooter,
It's a little dirt bike.
little dirt bike. Nice.
It's a good time.
nice.
We did actually buy a dirt bike today. 400. Yeah.
Yo.
It's a little SSX or SSR.
SSR.
SSR, yeah.
Oh, those are fun little rippers.
Mm-hmm.
So have you been here all weekend?
Got here today at 10:30.
Wait, you got all that mud on you just today?
Yeah.
Ooh, another 2-stroke going by. So
I got all this mud on me in probably 20 minutes doing the barrel racing.
wait, now you're doing the barrel racing.
Yeah, I like to whip it around. It's good.
It's muddy. It's
Oh,
snot
absolutely.
over there. Nice. So do you hope to, when you get your driver's license, also get a motorcycle license?
Probably. I mean,
Or do you just like ripping around in the dirt and mud?
honestly, I feel like ripping around is in some ways a lot more fun than just motorcycling in general. Because, I mean, motorcycling's awesome, but ripping,
Are you a dirty girl?
absolutely.
Nice. Well, should we try and put you on something else? Try a new experience?
Sure, why not?
You can do the clutch and everything. So you want to try my Benelli?
Sure, which one's that?
All right. Well, let's go try it. Good catching
Okay.
up with you.
Yeah.
All right. So joining me right now is an old friend who I first met here at Vintage Days 2020, I think.
2020 would have been COVID year, so 22 was my first year here.
22.
So it was the year Haley and Moyne were here.
That's right. That was
Same year.
epic. Joining me is Season Klaus.
Yes.
Do you have to say it with an accent like that? Klaus.
Yes.
Yes, yes. And you do a cool thing. And the thing that's so cool is that you told us about this idea, this thing you were doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, that sounds interesting. And then I'd see it pop up here, it'd pop up there. I'd see somebody wearing a t-shirt. I'm like, oh, she's doing things. So tell everyone what you do, what you're known for.
Sure. So I started a company, I don't even know when, maybe 2018, 2019, just kind of, nothing serious, but started a company called Blah, Blah, Blah Motorcycles, just to kind of like play with this idea that people can talk about something that they're really passionate about and it makes sense to nobody else.
Yeah.
Or, it's just, it gets to be so overwhelming to listen to that your brain tunes out, it squirrels, it goes somewhere else. Then the next thing you know, you hear a Triumph, Honda, motorcycle. Oh, and I'm paying attention. So it's just a kind of a tongue-in-cheek way of thinking about the way that we all talk about a passion that we have. This one specifically to motorcycles.
Blah, 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 motorcycles.
Exactly.
Where'd you get that name from?
So it kind of came from a Gary Larson comic that I remember from when I was just a tiny kid. But he has a 2-panel comic strip, and the top panel is a picture of a guy talking to his dog, and it's like, what do we say to dogs? Stay off the counter, Ginger. Don't go through the trash, Ginger. All of those sorts of things. The bottom panel says, what do dogs hear? Blah, 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 Ginger. Blah, 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 Ginger. So, right, they're not hearing anything. They're just hearing their name and doing whatever they want to do. So, but coupled that with my life at the time being reintroduced to world of motorcycles, I've had a very bouncy kind of timeline to my life. Motorcycles in, motorcycles out, motorcycles in, motorcycles out. So this was another time of being reemerged into the world of motorcycles, and it's overwhelming. I don't know a lot mechanically about motorcycles. So I hear a lot, I tune out, and I hear, motorcycle, and I kind of tune back in.
Motorcycle.
Exactly.
So you had this phrase, this
slogan.
The slogan.
Yeah.
So what do you do with it?
I started out just as merch. I started out making T-shirts just for the people in my family. I made 6 shirts, and we wore them to a motorcycle event. At the time, I was based out of Chicago, and did some motorcycle Mondays. People are like, oh my God, that shirt's hysterical. Where did you get it? Oh, I made it. Oh my God, I would buy it. Well, hello. We love capitalism. So I started carrying a backpack with T-shirts in it, just small runs, and kind of selling. And then I did my first event, which was a comeback year after COVID at Motoblot, and set up a booth there and just kind of sold. And then actually was at that event that I got connected to folks coming up from Louisville. They really liked the idea. They talked about it on their podcast, and it just kind of came back around. And then I started, touring to more motorcycle events, just selling merch.
We have to give us a quick plug to the Louisville group. Something that on a lot of our podcasts, Cleveland Moto, Nokomoto, all of us, we're here, and the Moto Hop, we're all here together.
Yep.
We often refer to the captain's corner or the burnout corner, the party corner. It's Louisville corner.
It's the Louisville Moto Crew, and they put it on. They throw a hell of a party every year, and I'm late to this game and joining the fun here. This is my 4th AMA, and it is a show to witness. I often just stand there with really big eyes going, I can't believe this is what people, come and do. But it is intoxicating. It could be just the fumes, really. But it's really such a fun time to come, and they throw one heck of a party. I mean, they're really such a great group of folks up there.
Yeah. Shout out to the crew. So already they're a fun motorcycle community. So you're there, you've got the name, you got the merch. What's next?
So, storytelling, because blah, blah, blah means to talk. What are we doing? We're talking. And this is what everyone's doing at these events. You're literally just talking about motorcycles. You're telling your stories. Like, everyone has a story. And yes, there's hundreds of ways that people are collecting their stories, but not a lot are being collected just for the motorcycle world. I think once we get in our world, we see how much is happening. But to the layperson, they're like, oh, really? You guys talk about, you have a motorcycle story. Yeah, well, my grandfather used to ride. And then it just starts. People just start talking and telling their stories. You've heard this hundreds, thousands of times.
Yeah.
And it's really fantastic.
Just being here in Phil's camp.
Yeah.
We've been here, what's today? Saturday?
Yes.
We came Thursday, and I've heard about 12,001 stories from Monkey Phil.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, he is a great storyteller, and that's kind of what happens here, just naturally. You get the storytellers telling stories, so now you're just trying to capture that and share that in what kind of setting is this?
So these are live in-person events. So you get people to come to a stage, which can be intimidating. It takes some convincing to be like, you have a story. Public speaking is scary. I personally still don't like to do it, and I'm the face of it. So you just something you kind of work on and get over, and it's really empowering. But back up here. So people come to an in-person event, up to about 6 storytellers are telling their stories. About 2 to 20 minutes is what I say. You got to tell a story. It's 2 minutes long, 20 minutes long. I don't care. It's your story. You tell it. So they have time to refine their story and practice it, and then tell their story on a stage in front of an audience.
So kind of like for you have the like slam poetry, or for musicians, just like open mic night. And this is kind of that thing, but it's motorcycle storytelling night.
Yeah.
So you started doing these sessions.
I did about 2.5, almost 3 years ago. Started with the first one in Chicago, and immediately, because of my connections with the Louisville crew, rolled into one in Louisville. And then I've expanded into Cincinnati since. And it's a ton of fun. And what's really awesome about this is what the storytellers get from it, what they take away from their experience. There's a really great guy out of Cincinnati. He was worried sick about telling his story. And I saw him pacing outside back and forth. I'm practicing my story. Okay. And he got up there and he killed it. And right afterwards, he goes, oh, well, first of all, he was so nervous that I promised him a beverage of his choice. As soon as he was done, he goes, a gin and tonic. Okay. So I had a gin and tonic waiting at his seat for him when he was done. He didn't want to drink beforehand. But he rewarded himself with a nice cold gin and tonic. And immediately after, he goes, I would do another one. Because he felt the connection of the story with himself. And there's a lot of reflection, which is coming out of these stories, which I'm finding is really what drives people to tell their story, is they either are connecting back to the community that has been there to support them, or maybe they're reflecting upon a time when they had a better relationship with, family, friends, and they think about that, or just a reflection of themselves as a person. And there's this really cool connection with themselves, their motorcycle, their story, and their community. And it kind of always gets balled up this way. And people feel really good about having this experience of sharing their own personal story. I mean, you see it too. You hear it too. It's really cool to see what people kind of can learn about themselves in the process.
Do you have any upcoming events?
Nothing that's on the calendar right now. The only one that's really kind of set-ish is early November. There will be a storytelling event in Cincinnati in conjunction with a year celebration of a community garage there called Moto Federation. And Lee, who runs that joint, is an amazing guy, put together this really awesome garage for folks. And so he and I have been trying to partner for the past year about doing something there. So that's the one that's on the calendar, but looking to set the next one in Chicago and Louisville. And I'm looking to reach out to other cities.
So somebody has a story to tell, or if somebody would want to host, or how you'll come out and host it?
Yeah, 100%. Okay. So it's still my baby, and I have kind of a structure to it that's kind of like a format, I guess. But I would come out and help organize it, set it up, calls out to people. It's helpful if I have a connection in a city to start with, who they're already part of a community network of folks that I can kind of tap into, or they can help reach out. That's really how these things get to be successful.
And how many people on a roster usually?
About 6.
Okay.
Between 4 and 6 gives you a evening worth the ticket price.
So if someone out there has what they think is an interesting story, and 5 friends who also think they're equally fascinating, they should call you and say, hey, let's do
100%.
this. How do they reach you? This is a time. Give your plugs.
So the easiest way is the website. It's blah, blah, blah motorcycles.
Spelled with
an H, BLAH.
There you go.
3 times. And plural motorcycles, because who owns just one? None of us.
Thank you.
So the website's the easiest. To contact information is on there. You can send a message off of it, or you can email me directly, which is blah, blah, blah motorcycles @gmail.com. Those are probably the 2 fastest ways to get a hold of me. I'm pretty responsive. Unless if I'm off grid somewhere at a motorcycle event, that'd be the only time I wouldn't get back to somebody within a day.
I'm guessing tonight in the prime burnout hours.
I think we're on lockdown. Come find me under the tent and come talk to me there. But I will not be able to hear you. I'm talking in sign language at the burnout box. The music is fantastic. Come check out. If you're not even into burning motorcycle rubber tire stuff, the music is such a good selection that it's a party.
And the people. I have so much fun. I have so much fun down there.
It is people watching on point.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your story. And it's been fun, meeting you years ago. And I see it more and more and see you every time. I'm like, yep, she's still going. Blah, 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 motorcycles. Check it out.
Yep, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hey, here at AMA Vintage Days, and I am with AMA, can I call you Muckety Muck? You've climbed the ranks. Yes, this is.
I don't know if Muckety Muck is right. Chief Operating Officer.
One of the Muckety Mucks. Chief, yes, this is James Holter. And one of the things I like to do here at AMA, one of the things I like is you guys are available to come to you with questions, with concerns, and get an answer right away. And one of the things we talked about last year was the problem with insurance for dealers. You don't get into as much, but it's hurting dealers. It's hurting events. And just last week, the ADV rally in Southern California announced they're closing. They couldn't get insurance. And you guys have a program, and we talked about it last year. Can you let's talk about this again, and then I'll have some follow-up questions. How do you guys help people with insurance?
So the AMA is many things. One of those things is a sanctioning body. And part of our role as a sanctioning body is we facilitate access to insurance for events for our chartered clubs that run AMA sanctioned events. The idea of the AMA insurance program is we negotiate with a preferred insurance provider who they then look at our menu of sanctions and they work with our data of claims and they identify a price point that applies to various sanction types with a certain number of participants or other parameters that might apply to that.
I think you explained before that to many insurance companies, they don't know the difference between a 1%er gathering and a dirt bike rally in the desert, right? It's all like bikes to them. Part of what you do is to help educate the insurance companies?
Well, we do try to help educate as much as we can. That's part of the process when we go out and we get bids for our program. So when we bring those together, we explain what the events are, and then what they then do is look at the claims data on that, and then we go back and forth, and they're like, well, there were this many accidents, over this 5-year period. This is what we think that rate should be, and then we work with them to establish what that is. Of course, our position is to negotiate the lowest rates we possibly can to benefit our charter clubs and promoters. And they, are looking to get whatever is, appropriate for the risk profile of that type of event.
Are you finding it harder to find insurance companies to work with?
Absolutely. In fact, last year, I believe this was after we spoke, we were informed by our insurance provider at the time that they were not interested in insuring events that have minors.
Oh.
Yeah. And which obviously is a very large problem for the AMA because we're all about the future, right? The future of the sport. And if we can't have minors in our events, well, this is a non-starter for us. I can't, I'm not an attorney. I can't provide a very, detailed legal explanation for that, but it had to do with the legality or the enforceability of minor waivers in certain states.
I just want to point out the obvious to me is you're talking about with minors a family event as opposed to an adult event that might have alcohol and more things involved. And to turn away a family event, that's crazy to me. I know they have their statistics. A bean counter is responsible for that.
Well, in this case, it wasn't necessarily the statistics. It was what I just mentioned about the waivers.
Yeah.
They did a legal analysis of the waivers, and in certain states, they decided this minor waiver is not valid. Therefore, we're not, of course, we're not going to insure an event that can't have, now this was their internal legal position, very unfortunate for us. But, they walked away essentially from our book of business.
I think I had talked to another rally, I know at that break where they're like, we're a charter member. We've had an event for 26 years. We can't get insurance right now. We don't know what to do. They did end up getting it. So I'm assuming you guys found somebody else to work with.
Well, I can't speak to that particular situation because I don't know who it was or whatever. But yeah, there are times. So we have we work with a broker who will work individually with clubs that, if there's an issue with an event, we work very hard to try to get that event to fit within the parameters of what we can insure. And that gets to a point about this that, if you're an organizer, you really need to try to see this from the insurance company's perspective because it's what they push back on us, right? So if you have an event that is very difficult for them to quantify in terms of the claims data, they don't really care about our qualitative explanation of what this event is. We can give them a very detailed description of what is going on with respect to, say, a slow race. But if they don't have the data to back that up, then, as you said earlier, the bean counters don't care. Yeah,
James was explaining to me that they understand what a race is, but then when you say, would you say like field events? They don't understand what that is, like a slow race.
Yeah. Rallies are another big issue as well, because a lot goes on at a rally, right? And again, without getting into specific situations, because some are open claims at this point and there are lawsuits involved. But say, for example, the kid was playing outside of the motorcycling activity, climbed a tree, fell out of the tree, got injured. This has nothing to do with motorcycles. Our program is going to have to pay for that in many cases when a claim is brought.
That's hard.
So I do a lot of long distance rallies, which are not rallies like Sturgis rally. It's a, rally with time checkpoints and things like that. And all of those events are folding, unable to find insurance as well. Are statistically in these types of events, there's very, very low incidence of crashing, very strict adherence to riding gear and things like that. Do you imagine, can you speculate? Is this something where they hear rally and they immediately envision Sturgis, or is this simply because what we are doing is such a small piece of the overall motorcycling sphere that regardless of the, clean claims record, nobody wants to take on insurance?
It's a little bit of a couple things. One, if it's very difficult to define, it really, they want to push back on. Then they want to do what we refer to as the underwriting process, or that is where they will go through a very exhaustive discussion with the organizer. What is happening? What are you doing? How many people? Are there water hazards? All kinds of things that and the water hazard may have nothing to do with the riding activity, just maybe a creek that's adjacent to the property, because that brings additional risk in their mind. And that could be flood related, or that could be recreational activity in the creek that isn't necessarily sanctioned, but does create exposure for the event.
I don't know how you insure this event.
And well, that's
because all the things you've just said.
This event.
This event.
Well, this event, I can tell you, absolutely goes through a very rigorous underwriting process.
Yeah.
And it's a challenge, and I will say, we have been successful because the AMA, as you know, Liza, with this event, is not just a sanctioning body.
Yeah.
We are the promoter. We are the organizer. Yeah. That's different than almost everything else, every other motorcycling activity that we're involved in. So because of that, we are put in that position of the organizer, right, to negotiate the elements of that. And we have to protect it very, very rigorously. We can have examples where we see folks break the rules, and when I see it from the viewpoint of an organizer, like, that guy is putting this event at risk. The hundreds of thousands of dollars this event raises for the American Motorcycle Heritage Foundation at risk. All of our members' fund at risk. It's, he needs to go, and.
Well, I find it somewhat is self-governing out there in the world that you guys don't really venture into. We all are like, don't mess this up for everyone. We kind of self-govern. I find that's how it works. But I mean, this event is special because there's, I'm going to say, seemingly not a lot of rules, but there's a code of ethics that everyone follows.
It has been said that AMA Vintage Motorcycle Days is proof that anarchy is a valid form of government. I think we have folks that have come to this event so many times and so many years over and over. They just kind of know how to behave. They know where the lines are. They know how to ride through groups of pit bikes and not crash into each other. Of course, that's not the case with everybody, but we get new attendees every year. I think for the most part, we do have a pretty solid group of folks that come here, and we value our VMD attendees.
I mean, yes, I'm one of them. I'll let you off the hook a little bit in that your job isn't to oversee insuring events. That's not the job of the AMA, but you are the only source we look at and go like, how can you help? Because our industry is struggling.
Well, I want to push back on that a little bit, Liza. I don't want to be off the hook on that. I will tell you, we consider it part of the AMA's mission to facilitate insurance for events and
chartered members,
for chartered organizations, because the chartered organizations are the ones who are contributing organizationally and financially for the association, and we work for them. And we worked very hard last year. I could tell you, my December and January, our insurance program renews at the end of every January. Don't ask me why, I don't know, but it's the end of every January instead of December. And my December and my January, I can tell you, were extremely stressful periods. And when we got that program for 2025, it was like, well, my work for the year is done. Not really, but it felt that way because it was down to the days. I mean, we had maybe 2.5 days, maybe 2 days, and we were going to have a program. And it wasn't just us. A lot of insurance companies that used to write insurance outside of the AMA program, and they were absolutely out there, they're gone away, or they've quadrupled their prices.
Yeah, that's what we're seeing.
Yeah. So when we got our program with a new firm to come in and agree, and the rates, yes, they were higher than last year, but it was. Don't hold me to this because I'm just going to memory. I think they were 20% higher on the competition side, 30% higher on the rec side. I believe that's the way it broke down across the board on average. And then some events are different. So an adventure ride might have gone up different than a trail ride or a dual sport ride, or family enduro increase might have been different than a motocross. But on average, that's how it played out.
So as a chartered event, you guys are negotiating on behalf of your chartered event.
Yes. And then what we get is we get that menu of prices for these sanctioned activities. So you'll have a motocross, you'll have a hare scramble, you'll have a flat track, and then you might you'll have a dual sport ride, poker run, adventure ride, and then it's however many, whatever those additional parameters are that you provide about that event, then you're essentially given a price, and this is what it is. And as long as you are doing an event that fits within the parameters created by the rule book, and you're doing that specific type of event. And that was the other thing I think I got off track, Wendy, before I answered the rest of your question earlier, is for the insurance companies, a motocross is a very definable thing, what that is. If you talk about a long distance rally, they don't really know what that means, because a motocross, they can see the track. They know what's happening. They know that it's like skilled individuals. At the same time, they know when it starts, when it finishes, how long it is, what the goal is of this. And if it's a long distance rally, say, 1,000 miles, 500 miles, there's a lot that can happen within 500 miles or 1,000 miles. But the big concern for them is the existence of other traffic on that route. They have no idea what that is. There is no way for them to quantitatively assess that risk. That's what they tell us. I'm not an insurance guy or a statistician, but it's just, and the other piece of that too is there are a lot fewer of them.
Right.
So we may have thousands of motocross races. And if you look over a 10-year period, tens of thousands, and they can look at the incidents. They know what type of race, where a crash happened, and how that event should be insured. So it's financially viable for them because, like it or not, they're in to make money, right? It's what they do. If you have, say, 6 of these long distance rallies over the course of a year, the data pool is just so limited in their minds. And they can't generate. We get, and it took a while for me personally to just wrap my head around this, but we would get pushed back year after year after year on dual sport rides. And I think of a dual, myself, I grew up, of course, started trail riding, raced motocross, and then, hare scrambles and all. So I was a woods rider, and I did plenty of dual sport rides myself. I think of a dual sport ride. These are typically 40, 50, 60-year-olds, very experienced riders going in the same direction on marked trail. Yes, some of them are riding somewhat aggressively, but way toned down from a typical GNCC or hare scramble race. This is a pretty safe event. But they don't have, the data they have is about maybe 25 to 40 of these a year, depending on the year. And if you have one incident where, God forbid, guy has a heart attack, not really riding related. I mean, you could argue either way. Was he overexerting himself, or was it just his time or whatever? And you have one fatality out of whatever 30 events that year,
right?
That is a huge deal. And the way that presents itself in their analysis is devastating to the point where we've often gotten other groups, we haven't worked with them, but when we reach out to these companies to whenever we rebid our program every year, sometimes they don't want to do recreation. Like, we're interested in the competition side, but the recreation and again, it's like, well, recreation is such a big part of what we do. We can't turn our back on that.
So, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I'm going to offer up some words and see if you'll agree with these. What I want to hear from the AMA is we're aware, we're listening, we're doing what we can. Mm-hmm. Would you say that's accurate?
Oh, we're absolutely aware of this.
Okay.
I mean, I get calls and emails from our insurance broker on a weekly basis about this happened at this race or this, and then many times it's why did this happen at this race? And I'm put on the spot to figure it out or answer for that activity. And we work. This is one of, if not the most important things that we do in terms of our chartered entities and our sanctioned events. The AMA was created by the motorcycle industry in 1924. The Motorcycle Allied and Trades Association, which was a precursor to the MIC, to do one thing, and that was organize motorcycling activity. Because the industry recognized that if we have motorcycling activity and we have more motorcycling activity, we'll have more reasons for folks to purchase our product, and they'll use our product, they'll accessorize our product, they'll wear out our product, they'll replace our product. And that's what the AMA's mission was. Now, our mission has branched out, into the government relations area, member benefits, things of that nature. But at the core, by promoting the motorcycle lifestyle, that is promoting motorcycling activity. Because if people ride their motorcycles, they're more likely to keep riding their motorcycles. And that's rules, it's organization, it's defending access to certain areas. And it is absolutely, maybe more than any of those things, facilitating insurance. Because in today's day and age, you can, but it would not be a smart move to try to hold an organized motorcycling event without insurance to protect yourself and your family and your personal assets, because all that gets exposed.
And go ahead.
From the enthusiast's point of view, I am experiencing rising anger that people feel like I've been an AMA member for decades and I am losing access to my sports. What is AMA doing for me? So you spoke to what AMA is doing for your chartered clubs. Can you speak to the enthusiasts that's seeing all of their events go away? Is there anything the AMA is doing or can do? Is there anything in the government relations that, can be promoted in terms of keeping some of these events alive?
The insurance piece of it is one and the same with respect to the chartered organizers and the individual members. That's a battle that when we fight that battle, we're fighting that for both of those constituencies. But I will give you one thing in the government relations side that we have been working very, very hard on the past couple years, and that's inherent risk legislation. It was recently passed in Texas. Please double check this with Nick Harris. I think Arkansas was the other state. Nick Harris is our director of government relations. Liza knows Nick very well. And he would love to talk with you about this and can speak to it much better than I can. But essentially, inherent risk laws, they essentially make the ski industry possible. And in horse riding is very
I never thought about the parallels, but it makes sense.
Yes. Essentially, it says if you participate in this specific activity, and I'm not an attorney. I feel like I keep saying that, but it seems like the way these laws are written, they're written to very specific activities. One we have in Ohio has to do with. And I only know this because my wife and we were at a brewery that happened to be on a farm, and they had signs up that cited this section of the ORC that is specific to, I guess you would say, farm recreational activity. So you might go to a farm that opens up for you to, maybe suburbanites come in, they want to experience, whatever. There's laws on the books.
Strawberries.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. Perfect example. There are laws on the books that you can't sue for something that happens to you that's part of that. And, they're like when you ride a motorcycle, that you could crash that motorcycle. And if we can get these inherent risk laws on the books, it's not going to be overnight, and it has to happen state by state, which makes it very difficult. But 5 years, 10 years, we will see, I believe, something moving positively in the right direction, because what it will do is it will eliminate a lot of frivolous lawsuits that happen because, someone like myself might sign up for the pit bike race tonight, the sanctioned pit bike race.
Sanctioned, right? Yes.
And, I crash all my own in the corner because, I not really have any business being on a pit bike, but, and I, whatever, break my clavicle. Okay. That's not Mid-Ohio's fault. That's not the AMA's fault. That's not this corner worker's fault. This law would say you can't sue for that.
Right.
But it doesn't cover and it doesn't exclude.
So it takes some of the risk away for the insurance companies to open up the door for them to cover more events.
And over time, and typically they seem to have a 5-year look back. So maybe it takes 5 years to work this way through the system once we get a critical mass of states on board. If we can eliminate those frivolous lawsuits, the ones that have to do where someone just crashed on their own and they sue, and then the insurance company, which they often do, they settle. They do not want to put some injured person up there who's been financially destroyed in front of a jury. That really rarely works out for them, whether it was a valid suit or not. So they settle. And then that is reflected in our claims history.
That makes me feel better to know. This is exactly what I wanted to know. Is the AMA doing something? Yes, you are, but it's so behind the scenes thing that we don't understand. You're playing the long game here.
And on that point, I do want to mention one thing, like when you say, what is the AMA doing? And when you mentioned this and how you just present, Liza, we had an AMA congressman. His name is Bill Kapner. I don't know if you know Bill Kapner. He was very active in Ohio in off-highway vehicle rights, actually on the national level as well. He was involved in NOVAC quite a bit. He passed away a few years ago. He was also an organizer. He owns a lot of property in Southern Ohio, or owned a lot of property and would hold events there. He would go to AMA Congress, and whenever he would hear another attendee at Congress, say, well, why isn't the AMA doing this or this particular thing? He would respond, wait a minute, you are the AMA. What are you doing about it? And his point is I'm staff. Yeah, I work for the members. We all work for the members. I don't consider myself the AMA. As a member, I'm a Charter Life member. I'm member Life Member Plus, all that good stuff. That's what makes me the AMA, not being staff. You as a member, you're the AMA. Wendy, you're the AMA. We need to work together to affect change. And that has happened, I will say, in Texas in particular. And I hope they continue to listen to your podcast. If they listen to this part, we had very, very effective partners on the ground in Texas. I don't want to start trying to list them because I will leave someone out. Yeah. But these are AMA tracks, AMA chartered organizers who are working with us, providing us information. And in many cases, I mentioned this is a state level thing. And if you've ever done anything with state politics or local politics, you know that the strongest voice is a local voice. If I call up from Pickerington, Ohio, some guy in Texas, he doesn't
care.
Right. He has he doesn't care who I'm voting for or what I'm doing. But if I'm a track in Texas and I call and say, hey, I have 500 people that race here 2 times a month. They all vote in your district. That guy's going to listen. And that's why we need that grassroots partnership.
Right.
So the AMA, meaning the members of the AMA, the chartered organizations that make up the AMA can make that work. And then us as staff, we're your back office. We don't want to be out in front there. All this, work that we do on insurance and all this, in a perfect world, you guys wouldn't even have to think about it. We would just get it done. The reason it's happening now and coming out to the forefront is because we're having some issues and people are seeing
industry's changing. There's so much going on. You can't keep up with it.
Yeah.
I get it. But it sounds like you guys are doing something. It makes me feel better because when you hear about events, having a struggle or end, and it's like, who do we call? It's like, we're Superman. You guys are the closest thing to Superman that we have,
Yeah.
Like, we need the AMA to do something. And you guys you're playing the long game. I really appreciate that. That's what I wanted to hear.
Well, I mean, I can tell you when it comes to the insurance issue, personally, I consider that existential problem that the AMA needs to solve for motorcycling events, for the AMA. I mean, in what it is today. If we don't have insurance, we don't have organized motorcycling activity. If we don't have organized motorcycling activity, then that thing the AMA was created for 101 years ago by the industry to do, we can't do it. And then, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
So, trust me, I am very, very personally invested in
I appreciate
making sure that this happens.
Well, thank you for answering my questions. Like I said, I like to come here and something that's bothering me, I can find somebody to go, hey, do you have an answer to this question? I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And for anyone who wants to be a charter member, go to AmericanMotorcycleAssociation.org?
Well, if you want to be a Charter Life member, you have to be a member for 25 years consecutively. That's how you become a Charter Life member. But if you want to be just a member of the AMA, go to AmericanMotorcyclist.com.
Okay.
You get all the information there. And 25 years from now, hey, maybe we'll talk about Charter Life members.
Awesome.
This year's I'm becoming a Charter Life member.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Pretty pleased about that.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you for everything you do for us.
And when the AMA does do something good, I want you to thank people like Wendy, not me. Because that's who makes it all possible. The Charter Life members that support us year after year after year after year.
Yeah. Great. Thank you very much, James.
Sure.
I appreciate it.
Happy to do it.
Well, I'm introducing a new segment. It's called The Morning After. Here at VMD, let me paint the picture. It's Sunday morning. It's light rain. I think thunder in the distance. You got some bikes going by, people packing up early, and some just sitting around questioning their life's decisions this weekend. There are a lot of things happened last night. There were costumes. There were people in costumes I didn't think would be in costumes having time in their life. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And as somebody who doesn't drink, it was really fun to just sit back and watch and keep throwing more costumes into the arena.
We had a reincarnation costume.
Oh, which one is that?
Bourbon ballerina.
Bourbon ballerina. Yeah, the Johnny Mac left the Bourbon Fairy outfit here, and Tom picked it up and got redubbed the Bourbon ballerina.
By the captain himself.
And Phil became the Malort demon.
Oh, is that what okay. All right.
Oh, that Malort is nasty. I tried it yesterday, and I was like, ooh.
But I wanted to take this moment and just kind of ask everyone Sunday morning, what's been one of your standout favorite experiences here at VMD this year?
Well, day drinking is always fun. Going sideways on a borrowed scooter in the mud. That was probably the highlight of my day. Did wash the mud out of my pants, so that was good. The rain, yeah.
What's your name, sailor? Where are you from?
I'm Ed from Vermont.
Yeah. All right.
Hello.
Hello. Oh, hello.
Yes. I'm Luke from North Carolina.
And yeah, my favorite moment was the muddy mosh pit. It was quite intense. People really, really got into it. There was no holds barred.
You came back shirtless and muddy and smiling. And I was at the mosh pit.
Was that right by the band?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was extremely good. It was how it's supposed to be, just people like all out intense.
And it's fun because you come to a vintage motorcycle event. Don't expect a death metal mosh pit to pop up, but
with motorcycles
there
and mosh pits sometimes.
Motorcycles and mosh pits. Oh,
that's a new tagline for the podcast. Yeah, there you go. Hey, I'm Marshall, also from North Carolina. I think blazing trails up in the woods on the dirt bikes in the mud. Also, I think there's a theme. Definitely a highlight, but also just hanging out in the tent. Seeing everybody. I mean, it's
the FEMA camp.
Yeah. It's just that there's no place like it.
Mike from Virginia. I would say that probably the most special thing here that I've experienced is when they do the lap for history. I think that's a very unique, very
otherwise known as
not a race. I think amongst all the things that you go to, that's one of the rare things they offer here that's pretty special.
You know, one of my favorite things, and I said this earlier, I love seeing the kids go by. A kid just went by on a dirt bike in the rain, didn't care at all. He's just out ripping. And I love seeing these kids just having these. We've seen the same kids sometimes just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
They're learning how to do this responsibly, though. They're not just, I mean, they're ripping around.
Well, they're not drinking.
But you can tell.
Well, we don't know that for sure.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I saw some 15-year-olds slugging beers and doing burnouts, but yeah. Well, yeah, he's cut you off.
No, but like, they're ripping around, and I can't tell you how many times a kid will sort of cut me off, and they'll lean over the shoulders. Hey, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. You know, they're aware that they're working around other people and all. So it's a lot of kids don't have that nowadays, I guess, and it's kind of cool to see that.
It was fun watching the kids. Women, I was so happy to see all the ladies riding because you don't see it that often.
Yeah. There's a kid I've seen going back and forth on a giant quad, and he has this look of authority as he rides it. Have you seen this kid?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like he's the boss.
Is that like 10 now? It's so oversized.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Well, I think we're not sure how to pack out today. There's like dark skies around us, but what we have is a perfect view. Sitting here in our tent, staying dry. We got food, we got drinks, and we can just watch everyone else deal with the chaos, knowing that we're not in a rush. So it'll be fun. So we'll see. Maybe some more people come out. I'll check in with the morning after and see what they think. Exactly. Well, here we are.
Indeed. Here we are.
Evening after.
How many years in a row we are in Unky Phil's living room?
First off, Phil, every year I hope I remember to say this, but thank you.
Of course.
For introducing us to Vintage Days. I still feel like this is your house.
Yep.
And we're just guests here.
Well, but every single person I've showed to this event, I mean, for 20 plus years, every person I've ever taken here has come back. 100%. So every person I've ever showed it to has come back at least one time. Some people like you forever. And then also you realize being that I am, of a certain age and that I am identifiable. So people will come up and they'll be like, oh my God, I knew you'd be here. I was like, well, yeah, because I showed you this, right? And this year, Mud, Ohio.
This is, Mud, Ohio.
Mud, Ohio did not fail to impress. And is there the right amount of mud?
Yeah.
And it turns out there is.
This is the right amount of mud.
It's the exact right amount of mud.
Yeah.
And without it, because last year we had
the Dust Bowl,
high heat, no wind. And the Dust Bowl was something like my toolbox. When I came home and I opened up my toolbox was all my tools, everything in it was just like crusty. Hell, this year I'm going to have to take my toolbox in and straight up blow it out, dry it out, because it rained hard several times. But then when the rain was over, the sun instantly came out.
Yeah.
So it was like you had sun until you couldn't take the heat anymore. And then the rains came. We cool everything down, knock the dust down. And it turns out a muddy barrel race is like 1,000 times more safe than a not muddy barrel race.
The muddy road racing was, there were some where, but it was manageable mud. It wasn't just disabling mud.
No,
it was this is going to be interesting mud.
It actually, you know what? When they press, sometimes they'll gravel the place before we get there. Like last year, they graveled it before we got there, and the gravel was too deep. The gravel was too new. And it was stretch. It was very, very tough on the bikes. And a lot of people crashed. I mean, I think last year we had like 5 of our bikes get crashed because of the gravel. And you know how to ride on gravel, but you don't know how to ride on this kind of gravel where there's really nothing hard under it. Well, when the mud comes, Simon, are you there, buddy? There you go. He's like, oh, what's all this recording equipment? Hi, Simon. But then this year there was that perfect amount of rain that kept everything nice. And so the gravel was better, the mud was better, and it was also a possible like way that Mother Nature was like, you've had enough cool down now.
Yeah, the mud added to it. It just made it a different experience. But the thing that I think is best, every year I say how fortunate we are to come with the Cleveland Moto Gang, because you've got it dialed in. But boy, it's gotten really dialed in.
There was a moment, I got there on Wednesday to secure our spaces. We got in a little bit of trouble with that. And that's a side quest. But anyway, I got there Wednesday to secure our spots. I made sure to find us the neighborhood we wanted to build.
You need to, because we have grown a large subdivision.
It's over 400 feet. So, I mean, you think about that, that's bigger than a football field. That's a third bigger than a football field, and it's all us, right? So it's a pretty healthy part of the campgrounds. And this year they weren't too happy about what we were doing to start. But then as we're fleshing it out, as it's coming together, and we have not just like a 10 by 10 pop-up tent thing, but we've got 6 double. So 6 Summit Racing racetrack approved.
Oh yeah.
Major super extra large pop-ups.
We have a kitchen, a lounge, and a tiki bar all under tents.
The East Wing, as I like to say, the East Wing is the kitchen, craft services. Becky and Tom nail craft services. You will never be hungry. There are snacks out 24/7. There's food out 24/7. They pre-prepare the food for 2 weeks prior to the event, getting it ready. And then Pete and Swiggy from Noco Moto showed up. And they're, I've heard a lot of people say, like, I'm showing up and I'm going to bartend the event. And then, like, an hour later, they're in the weeds and they ran out of rum and they don't know what they're doing and it's a mess. Okay, if you told me, hey, Phil, you're going to go bartend for this event, I would mix up 5 gallons of a pre-batched out cocktail that at the last minute, just for show, I'd throw a splash of rum into it and I'd shake it up and I'd deliver it. Pete and Swiggy handmade so many cocktails and straight out of Smuggler's Cove book, right? Like they're booking up the cocktails. And I don't know what Peter did, but Peter had me on like speed dial. So I would just be wandering around and Peter would be like, hey, Phil, can you try this? Tell me what you think of it. I was like, I just barely emptied the last one. I tipped him out today. I tipped him out because I've never had such good service in a FEMA tent.
So we had me, the misfit.
Yeah, the lone misfit.
Yeah.
But you had stunt misfits.
I had stunt misfits.
Which is also cool.
We had the Cleveland Moto Gang. You got Johnny Mac. You got Sleepy. You got
we had Kromke and Harley Bob.
And then we had the Noco Moto.
Noco Moto was strong and fast. We had Moto Hop.
And then Moto Hop, Matt and Missy.
Swiggy and MotoGP. Swiggy and MotoGP. They were so on point this entire weekend. They had so many missions to accomplish. They were going to race in the Hail Scrambles. They had a Dragster 180 that they had to ride around on. They had to do the tiki bar thing. Plus, they just drove across America to do it. I was very impressed by those guys this weekend. They nailed it.
And we had like these it's like the neighborhood. People just keep showing
we
up
had
again.
a load of
Like,
cross-country riders.
we had
Moto Hop, Missy and Matt from Moto Hop.
We had, let's see, Luke and Patty.
Yep.
We had the Bills. We've got...
We had Anson and his daughters bringing us bread and cookies.
And then the other Luke.
And the other Luke. Yes.
And there's Ed. And there was so many. There was let's see, Anson and Marshall and there's so many.
And John and his son Carter, who came out to us, they found us through the podcast, and that's great. And we've watched Carter grow up. And Carter goes out and just totally dominates a step-up competition on a ramp that is illegal in 91 states. And he just explodes himself. And he's just covered in scabs. But that's not enough. No, he goes out and wins the burnout competition. He's up on the stage with the captain. It is, a very proud moment. Too bad his father went back to go get something from the tent and apparently got hit by an alcohol. Somehow an alcohol had found him and knocked him into sleep. And he didn't get to see his son's moment of glory in front of the entire group of Kentucky Kickdown / Leuven Moto idiots. Mm-hmm. His son was on the stage the entire time during the awards ceremony, just rocking out. A giant Evel Knievel doll.
Can we talk about who else was on the stage?
I don't know. Who else was on stage?
There was the biker chick.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Shout out Wendy Crockett in a giant chicken outfit dancing her ass off.
Yeah,
I'm just going to leave that there.
No, I'm just going to say I showed up so at some point you came back to our camp and said, hey, it's going on over. They got 2 different stages going. They've got 2 different. They got a ramp jumping competition. They got a burnout competition. And as soon as you said that, I was like, well, I'm on the clock now.
Yeah.
And I was like, let's go. And then somebody said, oh, Tom is substituting for the Bourbon Fairy tonight. So now we have a bourbon ballerina. So Tom geared up, and also not a small guy. So he's geared up, and I was like, well, let me just be the hype man for the Bourbon Fairy.
Yeah.
Right. So you threw the world's most dumb hat at me I've ever seen.
With built-in goggles
and ear flaps, like an aviator's cap, like the kid from Toy Story.
Steampunk aviator.
It was exactly what that kid, he was terrible, rotten neighbor to Ralphie. But he stuck his tongue to a flagpole.
Yeah.
And I was wearing that hat. And I went out, but I had to but I was like, I'm going to channel my inner Grammy. I'm just going to be like, okay. And I got real weird. And I got real low. And I just started yelling at people. Drink the bourbon, heal your soul. Drink the bourbon, heal your soul. Drink the bourbon, heal your soul. And people were into it. And we went through a lot of bourbon. And then apparently I just crashed myself. And I fell not next to the burnout pit, but I fell onto the structure itself, which is nothing but vertical two-by-fours. So I have some bruises on my body that look like I was attacked by a gang of midget ninjas. I just fell on 3 vertical end-on two-by-fours, and I didn't fall gracefully. I went down shooting the fucking bourbon sprayer the entire time. But then apparently Tom fired me.
Well, and we tagged you. we had so many issues last year with drunks ending up in our camp and then us trying to find where they came from. And so,
I had to bounce
and then
a guy
sometimes they'd run away and we'd have to chase them. So Missy brought some of those light up
glow bands.
Glow bands,
yeah,
different colors, but we had decided that we're going to tag the drunks with red ones.
Yeah, you tagged me. Yeah. And then you were like, you guys tried 3 times to get me out of the party. And I was like, what? I was like, well, this is some bullshit. Like, what's going on? Why are you Tom, by the way, who I have seen naked for 9 hours because he was drunk, why is Tom trying to extricate me from the fun party? And he's like, well, I just never seen you like that. I let it slide out. I paid out a little more line last night. Look, this morning, though, I couldn't talk until 3 hours before my voice box came back.
All I know is you and Wendy in a group went down to the burnout corner, and an hour later, she just slinks by with a deflated chicken suit and just disappears into the Misfits Hilton and never to be seen again.
Don't let anybody
for about 14 hours.
Don't let anybody lie to you. Wendy can dance. Okay, that chicken got some moves. We went out and we did a little, we cut a bit of a rug there in front of the captain. Wendy did great. Wendy was fully in the moment. It was a good time. We had a really good time.
So yeah, once again, thank you. It was a great time. I mean, I've been thinking, like, is it the best ever? I don't know if it's the best ever.
It's always the best ever.
Every time, like, there's some highlight that, like, made it really fun and memorable.
Right.
But this time, it was just the people our gathering.
I think the peak moment for us wasn't some particular thing like I got to shake hands with, Evil Knievel or something. I think the peak moment was we got to spend more quality time with more people. Because that environment of like, look, there's food, there's liquor, there's a lot of seating, there's a lot of shade, and we got a really prime spot, and people can go be shenanigans. We had the Nada ramp set up and stuff. Steve made an excellent Nada ramp. Sleepy did a great job with that. And so and we got a little bit of spice from the sheriff's deputies. Like, we had just the perfect balance of what you're supposed to have. We had a little bit of adversity, we had a little bit of weather, but mostly we had a lot of people that felt comfortable enough in our group to hang. And by the way, the number one question, if you've never been there before, is where can I find you guys? And we have a 36-foot tall. And if you guys are military people or whatever, you'll know what a Gadsden flag is. A Gadsden flag is the, don't tread on me, right? Yellow background, snake, don't tread on me. So we found one that's just a rainbow flag background, and it still says, don't tread on me on it. So it's the gay Gadsden. So we have the gay Gadsden flying, and then underneath it, Tom somehow found there's the Mosin Lobby, which the Mosin Lobby is like, you want to take my guns? Come and get them. And it's an old thing, but anyway, usually if you see Mosin Lobby on the back of a pickup truck, it means there's a free gun inside if you break the window. And so Tom found one that says, come and get it, spelled C-U-M, and instead of a gun, there's a Hitachi vibrator. And so we were flying those two flags this year.
I was trying to tell people,
it was very easy for people
just
to
go
find
down
us.
the road and then make a right.
No.
And it's on like, are you anywhere near that big flag?
Right.
Yes,
that's the funny, like from the racetrack, from a mile away, you can see this flag. And it sticks out like a sore thumb because now all the Trump flags are gone. So AMA Vintage Days used to have about 197 Trump flags and about 7,000 to 9,000 red Make America Great Again hats. And I will say, Caitlin from Capital City Scooters, she worked swap meet this year, and she said she saw one MAGA hat.
Yeah.
One. So it was kind of fun that our place has always been the place that's like, hey, bring us your weird.
It was. I met the speed clams.
Yep. The speed clams. The Shannon and the speed clams are some of my favorite people absolutely on the planet.
Yeah, and
I
Dan
love what they're doing.
and Andrew, and it's just like such a great time.
It was a great time. Yeah.
So now it's
why is it only 4 days?
I know, it's a recovery
because
period.
we would die. Because if it was 7 days, my heart would stop beating. There's no doubt about it.
And for anyone considering coming to Vintage Days,
if you're considering it, do it. You
just
know,
make sure you bring a vehicle to ride around.
Okay, Sleepy just dropped on Motor Stories and More. He dropped like the things you must bring to Vintage Days, which is it's a bit of a turn away from our podcast and what we talked about there. But we talked about that for 2.5, 3 hours. Sleepy gave you a nice, tight 25-minute thing. And I had 50 people come up to us this weekend. It's like, you know what, man? I listened to your podcast. I watched the video. I am shocked how unprepared I was for this. But because I did that, I'm having a much better time.
Stunt Misfit Ken, he was in the infield. I'm like, are you feeling adventurous? He's like, I don't know. He didn't have any vehicle to get around. I'm like, hop on the back. I stuck him on the Benelli. I took him through the woods.
Oh my God.
I'm talking like in the mud. I'm talking 2 water crossings and a hill climb and him just trusting and hanging on, and took him all the way back to the campground. And we're like, here we go.
Will it motocross? My friends, yes, it will motocross. Benelli 135, 12-inch tires. Will it moto? Oh, it'll fucking moto. Absolutely. Yeah, it's great. It is one of the most fun things. The store was open, like the joke, we brought out some black cat. We had a grip of black cat scooters, and we're just like, hey dude, we never even took the keys out of them. We're just like, go rock it. And it was great. We had, Nick who builds shit hot insane two strokes, and Lizzie were in our booth. Like they were coming up all the time, having a great time, getting to play around and be silly with us. Right.
Yeah.
And I just really feel like it's a 4-day thing that it just never stops going because there's so much. I couldn't see it all. I did not take one lap on the barrel racing this year. No, I didn't do it.
Neither did I.
I didn't do it. I made 2 trips through the woods. I was trying to find I was trying to find the hill climb thing, and I was trying to find, I was just trying to kind of like get the lay of the hair scramble thing. And so I was doing all that, and I was like, oh, the woods are great. I love that North Woods section of it. I love Thunder Valley. I really enjoy the parts of the track where I used to camp and used to live there when I'd race. But now we are at ground zero now of like place. This ambulance came up our aisle yesterday and the ambulance is coming up and I'm like, well, ambulances are normally for the track, not for the campsite. You don't often need an ambulance in a campsite where people sleep.
I think they get mad at the track because we're taking away their resources.
Perhaps. And I'm like, oh my God, somebody eat shit over in Burnout Corner? Like, did the Kentucky Kickdown madness happen? And it turns out that was Carter. So it turns out they literally had the ambulance come for Carter in the step-up competition on that impossible ramp. He threw it through the air with wild abandon, and just him and the bike decided to part ways on impact. And he was a road rash sandwich. But he's the right age. He's going to walk it off. So,
yeah, he's
so again, it's always a good sign when the ambulance shows up and it's not for you, but it's in your group, so you get the cred. And so when the sheriff came by and yelled at us for not a ramp, he's like, I don't want to see another ambulance in here. And I was like, no, that was us. That was one of our guys.
Claiming it.
We'll claim it.
And big thanks to the AMA for putting on this event.
And keeping it cool
These
and not being
are projections, not official numbers, but definitely was told the largest ever, possibly 75,000.
I've been doing this for well over 20 years since it was at the campground. I think last year we figured out it was my 23rd or 24th year. Yeah. But this year I judged the attendance not based on I based the attendance based on how many vendor spots there are. And they had to open up an area with 80 more spots.
Yeah.
So they opened up an area with 80 more spots. So now there's like 500 spots. Largest motorcycle swap meet on planet Earth confirmed. And the camping, they've had to literally go to unit by unit control, counting the camping spots and giving you assigned unit spaces, because this year they had to turn people away because the campsite was full.
Which is funny that they're even checking in on us because we run a FEMA camp, because people just show up and we just keep squeezing them in.
Oh my God. Oh, you have no idea. The population density of the FEMA camp this year was higher than Chicago. It was like, we were like running like four walk-ups in our FEMA camp. We had people stuffed everywhere. Hey, where did you guys sleep this year?
In the Misfits Hilton. Wendy and I were in the trailer.
I will never sell that trailer.
It is the most perfect place to stay. So it's a big empty trailer, cots.
It's got cots. It's got windows with screens.
Windows. I love it.
Air vents.
And big thanks to your crew. I mean, I
got the best crew in the world.
Yeah,
dude,
just making everyone feel
Tom and
welcome.
Becky make sure everybody are fed. Right? Seriously, my crew. I'm never more proud. Judge me by the quality of my friends, and I will be a lucky man for the rest of my life. We have got the best goddamn crew. It is great. Sleepy said he brought 150 joints, and those joints were like baseball bats.
Are you supposed to say this?
It's legal in Ohio.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh,
we're fine here.
Okay.
So he brings 150 of these just monsters. Like I would be good for 1/4 of that thing. And he brought 150 of them, and he said he went home with 46, I think. So he gave away 104 baseball bat joints. Pro taper, like nice rolls. And so when you think about how much liquor we went through, everybody, Pete and Swiggy, how much money they spent, not only getting here, but providing the liquor, providing the washes, and building this thing out. Like, everybody gives. Everybody gives. They're generous people.
And that's the last thing I was going to say to the stunt misfits who came out and helped me, do the interviews, to all the people staying at our camp who came by and visited, and to just the random people who I just turned and started a conversation with in line for something. Yeah. Every single person, chatty, nice. I'd sit down at a picnic table and have lunch with someone, just chat with them. Where are you from? And it's that environment.
If you watch the news, you will hear that America is a divided country. If you show up at AMA Vintage Days, you will realize that it is not a divided country, because we know that both teams are at AMA Vintage Days. We know that both teams are widely represented at AMA Vintage Days. But I promise you, at AMA Vintage Days, we've got other things to talk about, and it is always delightful.
And I didn't even make it to the mosh pit once.
You didn't? No. Oh, man. When I came back from being the bourbon gremlin, when I came back from that mission, I thought I was going over there, but my legs and my brain were no longer in the same body, and I had to fire myself.
Great time.
It was a great time.
That's it. Thank you. And thank you, Phil, for hosting me here.
Always welcome,
and
Liza.
Getting me to and from.
I love it. I love it when you show
I just show up.
Yeah, I don't care.
Show up. Wendy was like joining us kind of last minute. She says, "What should I bring?" Just show up.
Just fucking show up.
Phil's got everything.
I have everything. I've got 20 sleeping bags. I've got cots out my ass. I mean, if you show up with 18 people, I'm probably going to set you all up. I'm 56 years old. People have been abandoning gear in my vehicles for years. I've collected more shit than REI. I can hook you up. If you're anywhere between a size 9 and a size 13, I got boots for you. Moyne abandoned boots in my garage out there.
Yeah.
That were charity to him.
They were donations from my garage.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. So these boots have made it all the way across America, and they're still in my garage right now. Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm not a size 12, or I'd be rocking them. But, and Spirit of Moyne, by the way.
Yeah.
Spirit of Moyne. I was driving along, and I went over to the motocross for a while, and this guy shows up, and he goes, Hey. Is the motocross champion of Pakistan going to be here this year?
Is that John?
I don't know
it might have been
was.
John.
No, it was a rando. It was just some rando I'd never met before. And he goes, because that guy was like the motocross champion of Pakistan, right? And I was like, no, that was a joke.
No, he is.
I understand, but
not
he didn't want us saying it. Moyne didn't want us saying it because it kind of makes the shoes bigger that he would have to fill. And when you realize that you're going up against the guys that have been riding a dirt bike or a motocross bike since they were 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? If you're anybody, and Moyne did a great job. He did everybody proud. He didn't crash or die, and that's cool. He didn't come in last place. But that when somebody says, is the motocross king of Pakistan going to be here? And I was like, oh no, he couldn't make it.
Hopefully in the future.
Yes. Yeah, I think, I think Moyne would also like to come back too.
And just, an invite to anyone else listening.
Yes, please.
Come on out to Vintage Days.
Come on.
There's plenty of room.
We have a program. We do have a program. At this point, we could sell this experience. We could call Cat McLeod and we could be like, hey, this is the Cleveland Moto AMA Vintage Days experience. And he would set you up. We'd give you your own little tiny small trailer. You could have a little sub trailer, like one of those little beach cottages. Yeah.
Well,
super fun.
Now we just have 361 more days to go.
Ride fast, take chances, guys. Man, I want to see you all there next year. It's so much fun. Liza and this partnership here between, Unky Phil and Unky Liza. We really do enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. There's just the right amount of gasoline and matches. Just the right amount. Liza is still the instigator. Liza still comes back and she's like, you know what? I'm going to wind Phil up and go make him do things.
You just hand someone a silly hat.
That's all it took. It did. You had me. You were like, wow, that was an easy sell. Shit, I thought it was going to be a lot harder. Everyone's like, man, Phil was like 22 years old again last night. It's like, yeah, go blame Liza and that dumbass hat, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
It was a magic hat.
Well, thanks everyone for listening.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoyed it. Come check out Vintage Days and definitely support the AMA. Thanks.